There's a difference between having an open mind and being mentally disturbed. Ashton Forbes and his following have the brain of birds. A obvious fake video made by a man who's come clean. Ashton just blocks him and says he's being mean. Hey, why won't Joe Rogan listen and accept my piss poor evidence? I should block his ass too for not having an open mind. Don't get me started on Mick West for not investing his time on wormholes and missing airplanes. Can't he just tickle my schizophrenic mind?
Holy shit! Holy shit! MQ1C Grey Eagle!
And not so fast, Arthur Preston.
Did I get scammed?
In the age of the internet where truth's hard to find, Ashton Forbes made a claim that caught the world's eye. A video of mh370 with orbs that did glow. But soon the experts came and said, hey, that's just not so. Oh, the mh370 hoax, it's a temporal rise. Ashton Forbes said, hey, it's the truth. But his claims fell flat with VFX and stock images. He tried to fool the wise, but the truth came to light, and the hoax, it did die. The clouds in the footage, they matched a stock site. No proof that the plane was mh370, that's right. The video was crafted with care and with skill, but the truth, it was hidden behind a veil of ill will. Oh, the mh370 hoax, it's a temporal rise. Ashton Forbes said, hey, it's the truth. But his claims fell flat with VFX and stock images. He tried to fool the wise, but the truth came to light, and the hoax did die. The world was fooled for a moment or two, but the truth it prevailed, and the hoax it withdrew. Ashton Forbes, he tried with all of his might, but the truth it was stronger and shone through the night. Ashton Forbes said, hey, look at that cloud, but his claims were just a bunch of hot air. The clouds in this video, they matched a stock site. No proof that they moved or evolved, that's right. Ashton Forbes said, hey, it's flying trick light, but his claims were just a visual light. The video was crafted with stock images and lies. No evidence of advanced lighting, that's no surprise. Ashton Forbes said, hey, it's satellite USA 2219. But his claims were just a cosmic mind. The video was a hoax, that much is clear. No evidence of satellite footage, that's the final frontier. I want everyone to remember, these videos are fake. For always and forever, believing they're real is a mistake. Lives were lost, people died, families were torn apart. These lies are spread for one's pride. Ashton Forbes said, hey, it's FU1 drones, but his claims were just a military clone. The drones in the footage, they were just CGI. No evidence of drones operating over water, that's the truth, you see. Ashton Forbes said, hey, it's Edward Zealand, but his claims were just a treason to spin. The video was a hoax, that much is clear. No evidence of leaked videos, that's the final money's mh370 hoax. It's a temporal rise. Ashton Forbes said, hey, it's the truth. But his claims fell flat with VFX and stock images. he tried to fool the wise, but the truth came to light, and the hoax, it did die. In the end, we must be wary of the tales that we hear, for the truth it can be hidden behind your veil of fear. But with critical thinking and a careful eye, we can see through the deception, and the truth, it will fly.
Greetings and salutations, friends, and welcome. Tonight, we're going to be doing things a little differently than we usually do. So many times there is not enough to talk about, so we sort of focus on one story or subject going on in UFO land. But this week is a little different. Seems to be a lot of things going on, so I want to try to cram in my thoughts on these three things, which we'll be covering tonight. And those three things are that Tom Delong has resurfaced, not coincidentally, just in time. He needs to sell more UFO stuff to UFO people. Apparently, Tom Delong has not collected enough millions of dollars out of his false, fake promises of having evidence. You can search alien artifacts, Tom Delong, and see that he once promised the UFO community that he was in possession of alien artifacts while collecting money for his investment money. Investors paying him money while he's claiming he's in possession of alien artifacts. You can Google that. And of course, you can buy the book, but not from me. Tom Delong made an awful lot of claims with TTSA, and he collected an awful lot of money. And he's never quite explained what happened to all the first couple of years worth of money, which was reportedly into the millions of dollars, still now collecting investor funds and producing what I think is garbage science fiction masquerading. You know, they sort of play this game. Well, it's fiction, but it's based on true events and this and that. It's garbage. And the latest is, I believe, called Trinity. And Trinity is a proven hoax UFO case. So why would you base anything off of a proven hoax and then expect people to pay you money for it? I'm very confused by this. And then, of course, our second story is the notorious Ashton Forbes, the mh370 so-called expert who can't tell the difference between, CGI and VFX and real videos taken by satellites or military drones or whatever his latest concoction explanation for why those videos aren't fake. It's absolutely ridiculous that this guy is still going. But as is, sort of proven through history, when a hoax promoter pushes that hoax and squeezes every penny they can out of that hoax that's fake, when they're done squeezing every penny they can and the pressure becomes too much for them to continue to claim it's not a hoax, they inevitably, I've seen many people do this, they inevitably pivot to a new grift. And what we're seeing is Ashton Forbes is now pivoting to a free energy grift. And I compiled a previous series that we did on free energy. I was once very interested in free energy. And in all fairness to Ashton, I just want to offer him a word of caution from somebody who has actually spent, I probably have spent hundreds or more hours experimenting with free energy projects. I've built Bedini motors, I've built crystal power cells and many other things that were purported to be free energy, or what is commonly called over unity device. An over unity device puts out more power than you input. And of course, this is all against the laws of physics. The laws of thermodynamics. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It can only change form. So certainly there are devices that work that I would consider free energy or nearly free energy, like solar panels and wind. I'd really like to have a wind turbine at the cabin. Someday I'm going to do that. I have built many solar power systems. They work. But Ashton is claiming to have some sort of magic free energy over unity device. Of course, he can't tell us who created the device, what company it's coming from, but he's taking pre-orders, and it's $50,000, I believe. And the biggest indicator that it's a scam or a grift is that you have to sign a non-disclosure agreement in order to get the device and purchase it, which should raise all kinds of red flags, because essentially I believe that means you could give this guy $50,000 for your free energy device, and then when you get it, it doesn't work, but you signed an NDA, so you're not allowed to publicize the fact that you got scammed or ripped off or that the device doesn't work. Now, Ashton is claiming that he's going to do some kind of videos and show multimeters to prove that this device is generating more electricity than it's putting out. No, that's not. There's hundreds or thousands of hoax or scam videos on YouTube doing exactly that, showing multimeters, claiming, okay, we're putting in 9 volts and we're getting out 9 volts DC and we're getting out 120 AC, and we're able to run this lamp for 80 hours off of one 9-volt battery. It's all hoaxes and scams, these videos. The way to prove that the device is actually putting out more energy than you're inputting is, through weights and measures. You have to get a government agency to measure your input and your output. And if he can do that and prove that it's creating more energy than you're inputting, then I will apologize. But I have studied extensively so many of these free energy guys, and they all do the same thing. They claim over and over again that they have a working prototype or a near working prototype. A big part of that scam or grift usually is, we're this close to having a working prototype, and we just need the final bit of funding to get to the finish line. But they never do. They just take everybody's money. And John Searle has taken so much in investor money. And it's interesting, when the heat got too much on him each time, he would move or disappear for a while. Then he'd come back 3, 4, 5 years later, same spiel. Oh, this device, I used to have it working, but somehow he can't recreate it. He built it as like a teenager in his basement, and that one worked, right? But now we have all this more advanced science, more advanced tooling, more precise 3D printers, but he can't recreate the device. This tells you that these people are scammers, and I'm sorry, I'm not sorry. A lot of people have claimed that I'm jumping the gun. Well, see the tests first, Stephen, before you decide. Okay. Like, I'm going to trust a proven hoax promoter to not fudge the multimeter proof or whatever he's going to do. Bullshit. Why don't you let me there with multimeters, Ashton? Why don't you let me bring an oscilloscope, multimeters, and real measuring equipment, and let me look at it and determine if it's actually creating more energy than you're inputting? He's not going to let an independent person verify his claims. He's going to take the money and run. That's my opinion. And then, of course, the third story that I want to get into, by the way, this is just the introduction. We'll be diving a little bit deeper as we continue our journey this evening. The third story is the second part of the Sean Kirkpatrick interview by Stephen Greenstreet of the New York Post. Now, in the last one, you may remember that Kirkpatrick couldn't quite remember this briefing that he apparently was at, and everybody, oh, he's a liar. He lied. And in this most recent second part of the interview, we get some clarification, and it turns out he didn't really lie. And of course, the true believers are going to make a mountain out of a molehill because they hate that guy for telling them there's no evidence of aliens. We investigated. We haven't found your crash retrievals or your alien bodies or your alien spaceships that are being back engineered, or any programs involving extraterrestrials or extraterrestrial. We didn't find anything. So everybody hates him. Of course, they're going to jump at any excuse to call him a liar. I think this this second part of the interview is great because it kind of clarifies, and it looks like if anybody lied, it's Brandon Fugel. And if anybody embellished, as some people like Brandon Fugel are known to embellish, it's Brandon Fugel. And we're going to get into all of that. But I thought we will begin sort of in order here. We'll start with the Tom Delong resurfacing, which is interesting. And I don't think it's a coincidence that Tom DeLong resurfaced just as he's selling new products, right? Where's he been all this time? Oh, he's been making shitty movies with everybody's investor money, right? That imagine that you invested in this company that said, we have alien artifacts and we have all this evidence, and we're going to be building a spaceship based on UFO technology that we're in possession of. And then you give your hard-earned money to this company because you want to see that stuff, and you get a big bait and switch. That's what Tom DeLong did with what has been called and characterized as a techno-investment scam, TTSA. He collected millions of dollars, apparently, and instead of doing the things he promised the people giving him the money, he made a shitty movie, right? He made a totally shitty movie. It's terrible. I'm sorry. And it looks like a movie that he was a first-time director, but it looks like one of those movies that, like, I don't know. I have a lot of friends that are creative people, and I have several friends that are filmmakers or attempting to be. And his movie looks like that kind of movie that one of your friends made on no budget, get some actor friends that will help him with the script and help him make this film. It's just so amateur hour garbage. And he's apparently, according to Lou Elizondo, who mentioned this to someone, that would be Jeremy McGowan, Tom DeLong wasted all the TTSA money on that stupid movie, which, by the way, tanked. They didn't make any money on that movie. I guarantee it. It is garbage. Is it free on YouTube yet? It probably is. But I thought we'll put our fair use banner up. But first, let me welcome in the live chat. We've already got great people in attendance. Also, I wanted to mention there's been some pretty interesting interviews on this Danny Jones podcast concerning Christianity. And I'm getting emails of people asking me if this is true or that is true. And quite honestly, I'm a bit blown away by what was presented there. And it'll take some time for me to research, digest, and form some opinions with the claims that people are making. If you're not familiar, essentially, there's people on Danny Jones' show calling Jesus a pedo. I don't know what to even say about that and some of the other things that were presented. But some of the people have compelling arguments that I can't just instantly dismiss as wackadoo because they're citing sources. So these things take time to go through. If people really want me to dive into those sort of mysteries, I will, but it'll take some time. And Kepsa is here. Haven't seen you in a while. Welcome. Says, great work by Tom DeLong. Movie was so bad I couldn't finish it. Even doesn't even work. It's not even worth pirating, says Kepsa. Yes. So welcome to the live chat. And wherever you're chatting, we welcome you. And I'm gonna put my fair use banner up. And many thanks for all the birthday wishes for our Cash Clown, and also well wishes for me. I'm still recovering from this awful case of strep throat, but I feel a lot better today. The antibiotics are kicking in finally, and the fire is going away in my throat. I should be just fine for getting through tonight's broadcast, and I thank you all for the well wishes. Now we're gonna go into this video. This is a 12-minute clip. This is an interview with AJ Harley, and in his typical fashion, this is like, I don't know. I listened to this already, and to me, this sounds like, you ever get drunk at a bar and there's like some drunk guy that's telling stories, and the stories just keep getting like more and more unbelievable, like he's basically, Tom DeLong comes off as a bullshitter at a bar, to me anyway. And I'm not the only one. I'm sure I'm not that only one who has made that sort of observation. Like the story he tells with Lou Elizondo and General Mattis jumping out of a troop carrier with a machine gun to save Lou Elizondo, and like Oh, I have alien artifacts, right? Yeah, I have alien spaceship parts. Sure you do, bullshitter. Oh, that's right. Those pieces turned out to be ordinary earthly materials, a missile casing. They weren't anything special, but he knew that because he got them from Linda Moulton Howe, who ran with that hoax for a decade and never proved they were alien materials. But here we go. Let's get into this.
Well, I mean, shit had happened to me. I don't know if I've told this story. I'm sure I've told this story somewhere, like on a podcast or something. But so we have a piece of, and this kind of maps up with our story a little bit. So To the Stars has a piece of wreckage from a crashed craft in the 40s, purportedly, you know. But we all the studies on it showed that it was pretty fucking, it was pretty artificial looking. It was pretty.
Yeah, and of course he's referring to Art's Parts, which is a proven hoax. It was a proven hoax when Linda Moulton Howe pushed it, and it's a proven hoax again because in the Arrow report they analyzed the pieces and found it to be ordinary earthly material and most likely came from a missile casing, not from an alien spaceship. But never let things like facts and evidence get in the way of a good bullshit story that you can tell stupid people.
Highly engineered at a metamaterial level, which is like kind of atomically made, and it looked to have some very unusual properties. So
it has no unusual properties. It's normal earthly material. And despite all the claims, Tom DeLong, Lou Elizondo, and others that were part of the TTSA alleged techno scam, remember, they were basically telling people that they had alien spaceship parts while they were soliciting public money, investment in their company. It's very shady, and they have yet to produce any data to prove any of the various claims that were made on various podcasts and media appearances and whatever. They've never proven any of their claims, yet they were fine to collect money making these big, bold claims and never proving any of them. And of course, there is substantial scientific evidence the first go round, which we presented here, that Art's Parts were fake. But then we get the Arrow report, which confirms once again that Art's Parts were fake. Remember, these were parts sent to Art Bell. He thought it was a hoax and worthless. He gives it to Linda Moulton Howe. She runs with the hoax for 10 years or so, right? Speaking at UFO conferences, lying to people that they have all kinds of advanced, properties, but they didn't. And none of these people ever proved anything about these mythical spaceship parts they claimed to have. But it didn't stop all of them from collecting dollar after dollar after dollar. Praise to cash, these stupid people. They don't need to see any data. I can just say this shit and collect the money. This is awesome.
It went under contract with the U.S. Army. And then after that went on and was...
Yeah, imagine that. The United States Army wasted money on this nonsense.
Studied by the Congressional UFO Task Force and some of the national laboratories. So we're still in the middle of that. We have our own scientists going out to read the reports and see what they found versus what we already know about it. And so...
It's in the Arrow report, Tom DeLong. It's normal earthly materials. It was a nothing burger.
Hope more on that later, but what is interesting is we were showing that piece in New York. We had like a penthouse in Manhattan that was kind of like a big commercial space where we rented a whole floor, and we only invited like 12 people, and these were actually just investors. This is when To the Stars Academy of Science was just starting, and these investors show up, and it's a small talk. It's like me and my other government partners that are there.
Here's where it starts getting real thick.
We're at the Pentagon with the UFO program, and Jim Simovan, which is CIA.
You always got to have some cloak and dagger stories to go with your aliens.
The elevator that weren't.
Here's the cloak and dagger bit.
They were Russians, and they were Russian spies, and they made it into our small little party. And I'm sitting there like in a suit, with our books, and probably had secret machines on a table and a bunch of stuff about the programs. And we were talking about, we had the piece there under a glass box with 2 armed guards. And these 2 Russian spies show up.
KGB funding must be dry.
The reason I knew they were Russian spies is because they walk in with these thick Russian accents. And I knew that they weren't invited. So I look at Jim, my partner, who is like one of the senior level spies at CIA. And I was like,
Well, that
who the
part's
fuck
true.
are these guys? His face just kind of dropped and he just walks right away from me, tells the guys to stand in front of them at peace with their guns. Don't let these two guys anywhere near it. Lou was already giving the speech. So Lou notices these guys.
Listen to this. Oh, so they had armed guards at a private event, a party basically that a bunch of UFO dorks were having. They had armed guards just in case there was Russian spies that needed to be dealt with guns, right? Ooh, how dramatic. This story just reeks of bullshit. I'm sorry.
Guys. And Lou's talking to the other 12 people. They're in chairs and he's kind of at a little podium. And so Lou does this little thing with his phone. He's like, for example, everyone shut off your phones. I want to tell you something about your phone, you know? And he did that during his speech on a whim to see if the Russian in the back would turn off his phone.
Good point, Chrys Lee.
Yeah. Was recording the entire thing. And the other guy disappeared.
Yeah,
so
people
Jim
think that he's a CIA bobo.
To figure out where this other guy went because we're in this massive kind of commercial space. We don't know where the guy went. He's checking the bathroom stalls and everything. And right before Lou's finished with his speech, the Russian turns off his phone and walks out back to the elevator. The other guy shows up. Who knows where he was at? And they get in the elevator and leave.
Yeah, he could be.
Jim,
who knows?
Like,
yeah.
How the fuck did that happen? And what is going on? And Jim goes, yeah, what do you say? They're on what we call the cocktail circuit. You know, they just cruise around and they just gather up information on the.
Oh, thank you,
Rotary
Notion.
This is obviously extremely important because we have a piece that's potentially from a crashed.
Yeah.
You know,
our information is so important that we've got Russian spies infiltrating our private events. Come on, really? To see a piece of ordinary earthly metal, we know now it was ordinary earthly metal.
UAP, and we have guys that ran the program and guys that are senior level management at CIA.
Yeah, a lot of people miss this. He's saying that he had guys that ran the UFO program. I think he's talking about the crash retrieval and the back engineering program. So why doesn't he tell us who those people are? Oh, no, just kind of throw that in there. We had guys that ran the program. Or is he talking about ATIP, the imaginary UFO program that Lou Elizondo never ran? What a bobo. For those unaware, a bobo is a CIA useful idiot. And a lot of people have speculated that Tom DeLong is a CIA useful idiot. After all, the organization he started and allegedly defrauded the public out of millions of dollars with was filled with CIA people.
They all in this one room, you know, and how this kind of maps up with Trinity is that, you know, there is a Soviet spy involved in the story because they were embedded in society.
Gotta sell that book.
Tests and the important military bases. And their job is to go be on the cocktail circuit and to gather information. And if something ever needed to happen,
even the guy interviewing him is just looking at him like, are you kidding me?
It'd be the ones called to do it, you know? So
yeah, he's one of those circle jerkers. He's too polite to stop him and say like, come on, dude.
It kind of gives you a lay of the land in the nuclear age. You
got to stick to singing terrible pop punk songs.
They existed in my life, but
he's terrible at UFO bullshittery.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, because it's something that has come up a few times recently. Because as we said at the start, you and I have been talking for 10 years. The conversation,
stage to impress the investors about how important they are. Good point.
10-year span, in terms of, you know, the attention and the seriousness with which people discuss UAPs and congressional hearings and all that sort of stuff. To what extent do you think you have been a part of that?
Oh, he's going to take all the credit.
Oh, gosh.
He's going to take all the credit. I think
I literally feel responsible for starting it, you know, and I don't say that from the ego point of view.
It's all because of him. He did it all with his fake spaceship parts. His fake claims, building a space,
in this because I know what
taking everybody's money and delivering nothing he promised. He's a hero.
I remember the very, very beginning moments of me talking to people and pitching things and flying by the seat of my pants and manipulating just to get people kind of to back me up. And next thing you know, I'm
Peter
with
Levenda, I think, Chris Johansson,
people that matter, and then
who also wrote the
and then I
Necronomicon,
meet a
the
bunch more
fake
people that really
Necronomicon.
matter, and then
Yeah.
those people are now involved over at Congress and getting people briefed and getting committees briefed, and so all the things that are happening or that happened over the past few years, like on the news, and getting Congress to know what's going on and getting the open hearings and all that kind of shit. I didn't do that stuff. But the reason
Yeah,
all
I
that
agree.
stuff happened was
You're
because
either
my
useful
guys
idiots
got
or
that
true
stuff
believers, I
happen,
guess,
and
wise monkey.
my guys only came aboard because
Yeah,
I did
kids
the
that
things
like Blink
before them
182
that
might
gave them
actually
a
like them.
platform to attach to actually.
Yeah,
as
where's
a
the
group,
money,
we can all
Tom?
get something
Yeah.
done
Mm.
more powerfully, you know. But and the crazy thing is
Very
like,
good point. Why does no interviewer ask him about the TTSA money and where it all went? No one has the balls to ask Tom, where's the money, Tom? What'd you do with all that money you already collected? Now he's back selling books, trying to collect more money from the UFO community for his nonsense, bullshittery, evidence-free, faith-based stories. They're fiction. Maybe they're based on real events. I don't know. Written with the help of Peter Levenda, right? Who wrote the fake Necronomicon, which was one big new age scam in the 80s, the late 80s. Remember that? H.P. Lovecraft got hugely popular thanks to, a large part in thanks to Metallica. Remember Call of Cthulhu and Master of Puppets? That's all the Cthulhu mythos. So the H.P. Lovecraft mythos got hugely popular, and in the stories, there's a mystical, magical book called the Necronomicon with all the spells to summon these otherworldly entities and so forth. Demons, some would say. Anyway, suddenly Peter Levenda essentially claims to just discover this mythical book. It was fiction, and the book is a work of fiction, but millions of copies were sold. Avon Press, who also published other very controversial books like the Satanic Bible, published that Necronomicon. They sold millions and millions of copies. You can still buy it on Amazon. It's a complete and total work of fiction masquerading as a real book, ceremonial book of magic. That's who he's working with, one of the people he's working with to create his garbage that he sells to the UFO community. But let's continue.
I never thought about it till this moment, but like,
you know what? This video is only 12 minutes long. We're halfway through it, and I just want to bail out now. I'm like, what else? What other stupid shit is he going to say?
that is something really cool about Western society and governments and stuff. Like we actually I spirited change, you know, like I really, from a grassroots level, like the most classified, the most secret, the most locked away information that has ever existed
that he cannot prove actually exists. It's the most secret information that's ever existed. Can you prove it exists? Well, no, but we got a lot of stories and fake spaceship parts for stupid people.
A punk rock kid with a skateboard, you know, was able to create enough waves that got more people on the boat to get that thing sailing and make some change. That's a
how do you feel? How do you respond when people say, "Oh, well, you know, if disclosure is the focus, then you shouldn't be doing fiction"?
I don't. Yeah, I. No, this is the problem. Is like people love to have like on.
Don't criticize my books of fake stories. UFOs is all fake stories. At least I'm admitting my stories are fake.
Big matters, and it just, you can't. You know, the world is not black and white. There's infinite series of gray in it. So you're like, okay, if we're trying to get the truth, then you either tell us the truth or don't tell us anything. And we're like, well, what if in the middle was we have to tell you that there's some things we can't tell you because it's inherently dangerous, catastrophically dangerous.
Yeah,
to tell
this
you
is the shuffle.
Things, but we need you to know certain things.
So we'll put it in
because
fiction.
It would be catastrophic.
It's so catastrophic we can't tell you the real story, so we'll just make a fictional story, and you still get the information. This is like a sideways shuffle con. sideways con shuffle. Like, well, you know, you should still buy my books because maybe they're based on real shit. No, they're not. They're fake stories. They're bad science fiction based on UFO mythology.
Dangerous to society for you not to know anything. You know, like that's not a black and white issue. That's like, okay, there's some shades of gray there. And the other thing is like, well, how do we come out and just tell you some of these things, you know, to where you guys have an understanding of like what's going on? And
yeah, and like many false fake UFO messiahs, past, present, and future, Tom DeLong always pretends that he's in the know and has some kind of secret information. All the UFO grifters do this so that you buy their crap. They have to make you believe that they know more about what's behind the curtain than you do in order to entice you to open your wallet, right? But they never actually have anything more than the rest of us. You know, we've got Lou Elizondo recycling crap that he found on the internet, right? And acting like it's some big new discovery. No, these people all just, it's like a big LARP. Oh, I have secret insider information. Maybe I'll share it with you if you buy my shit, right? But they never do, and they never have anything. It's one big circle jerk of nonsense, you know, and I guess you have to be here for way too long like me before you start, you know, and before you stop buying all this crap and start demanding, does it have evidence in it, or is this just stories again that no one can verify from anonymous sources or whatever? The shuffle they all do.
And what we're dealing with. And I have found that the arts have always worked better to, for example, we all went to school and studied fucking loads and loads of history. And I don't remember any of it, honestly. But if I was on the Discovery Channel or History Channel and I see a sick documentary, you know, about World War II or something, and it's just like one little facet of that, I go, whoa, the music's right, the editing's right, the story's concise,
yeah, like the History Channel is a good source of actual history information, or does he mean ancient aliens garbage and Skinwalker scam garbage?
The imagery is like on point. Like I will retain that information so
no
much
surprise
more
he's a history fan, History Channel fan,
and it's messaged in a way that I can just retain it, you know. It's like we can all hear the story of how Facebook started, but go watch the movie Social Network and tell me you're not going to retain like the more human.
That's funny, Anthony. They probably do.
The way it was done.
They got a timeshare, alien spaceship. They share it.
To get our society in a better spot if it's told through the arts, simply because.
Oh yeah, because we got to sell documentaries. We can't just give you the information. We got to sell it to you.
Back in the 40s, in the 50s, and you're just like a normal dude, and you went to some college or you're in the Air Force Academy. I guess the Air Force didn't exist at the time necessarily. Well, it did in the late 40s, but my point being, you got your job and you moved through the ranks.
Yeah, you could be right, Delvin.
There's like a spaceship that crashed, or some kind of craft that's more that could travel through time, or it's like fucking got these occupants that. I mean, the amount of fear of like the enormity of that, and then you're the guy that's supposed to figure out what to do with this thing. And
yeah,
and
it's
like
so scary.
It's like handing an iPhone to a cow.
Some homeless guy is asking, "Where did my couch go?" I know, for a rich guy, look at his couch. You know? It looks like he picked it out the trash.
It's a really difficult, scary, perplexing issue, and changing the way we view ourselves, the way we view the universe, changing the way we view physics, changing the way we view.
Oh, you got to wax poetic.
All that takes
speculation
so long to have an understanding,
and
because at the same time, I don't think there's ever any like
philosophy, right?
Who we are,
because you can't talk about the evidence because you don't have any.
Works. I think we're waiting for years in between these episodic visits.
Speculation,
where we learn little morsels of
and
information
waxing poetic. They all do that too.
And so during that time,
world-changing information.
Like, you know, screaming that we should know more information, and the government's like, we don't even know.
You're right, Chuck Bam.
You know?
Could be right,
and it's scary, you know. So the arts
more. The grift is getting. I agree, Smith. The grift is getting some of the Black Project money. Yes.
The difficulty of a problem and the emotion involved, and just normal humanity involved. Well, the arts can kind of do that. Like
Yeah,
It's
sell it in
like
a
movie
documentary.
Oppenheimer
Don't just
came
give
out.
this
None of us
important
would have
world-changing
known
information
the
away.
struggle
Sell
that
it.
all the scientists
Sell it in a
were having,
documentary.
letting this
Sell it
be
in a
unleashed upon the
documentary,
world.
right?
The movie really put that forward, that the scientists involved in making the bomb were really conflicted about it, to the point that they're doing petitions and trying to shut it all down and back.
It's interesting, we may have world-changing information, but instead of just giving it away, we're going to put it in a documentary. You got to have the music cues right, and it's so ridiculous. And to me, it's so transparent that these people are just here for money. They don't care about the truth. They don't have any real information to share. It's just a continual kick the can and buy the latest crap, and maybe we'll have something new to share with you. But it's usually recycled garbage that you could get on the internet for free. But hey, buy my book, buy my documentary. That's how this works.
Back channel and all this weird shit. And it really shows you like the enormity of the issue they were dealing with. Gave you a new healthy respect for how hard it is to be in those positions.
Melvin, come on. We did that. We made a spoof of that.
Like, the world needs to understand how scary and perplexing and difficult and how much gravity there is.
If you find that though, Melvin,
in those
send it to me
to deal with that subject. And now you'll understand why they're not just running.
No more waking up early, troll.
They're still in a big world of shade.
Troll.
Like I don't think they're all. They all feel like they've learned.
His outfit breeds intelligence.
They know everything that's going on. I think they know enough to where they feel like this is not, this is not a
me
good
too.
thing.
He probably opened a can of worms there, wise monkey.
Let's really fucking understand where we sit with it and how we're going to handle it, how we're going to communicate it, and all these different things. And
again, waxing poetic. He can't talk about evidence, so he's just, it's all like, well, the philosophical implications of this world-changing information. How are we going to get this information out to people, and how are we going to do this? And speculation and more speculation, philosophy and religion and spirituality. They all do the same shuffle. It's so transparent to me now.
I just happen to be in a weird, unique situation where I've learned enough about it that I think some people on that side of the fence are like, maybe he can explain it a little bit, and I'm like, I'll try,
Yes. Very important government types are coming to Tom DeLong to get briefings about aliens and UFOs because he understands so much of this. He understands so much of this that he's grifting off of fake alien spaceship parts and selling science fiction books by known scammer hoaxers helping him. It's so transparent and ridiculous. And again, we've talked about this so many times, but on the surface sounds pretty good. If you're just interested in this stuff and you think he might have some information, maybe I'll buy his book or whatever he's selling. But when you peel back a few of the layers of deception and you know a little bit of the history of the speaker, and I highly encourage you, when you're listening to somebody like Tom DeLong with what he's saying today, you need to educate yourself about what he said in the past and what he said previously, and especially what claims he has made. He's literally claimed that he was in possession of alien artifacts while collecting investment money in his company. He's literally claimed that his company, if you invest in us, we're going to build a spaceship with a revolutionary power source that'll change the world. Does that sound familiar? Free energy scam. He didn't deliver on any of his promises, but now he's back with new promises of revelations still to come. Just buy my latest crap. I, for one, will not be buying his latest crap or any of his crap. Tom DeLong is a fake UFO messiah who overpromised, underdelivered, and inevitably led everybody into the big letdown. And they all do this over time, and eventually the money dries up. The promises that they make never are kept, and people grow sour. But they do the Cosmic Con shuffle, and that's what Tom DeLong's been doing. He went away for a little while, wasn't doing a lot of public appearances and things, hopes that everybody forgets about the millions of dollars allegedly collected by his alleged techno scam, investment scam. And he hopes everybody forgets about those millions of dollars he already collected, and he wants to collect a few more $1 million with new claims and new promises of revelations still to come. But they never will. And they'll kick the can for the next 2 decades, selling you a book every few years. It's kind of sad, actually, when you peel back these layers of deception and realize that there's no there. That's my opinion, and I'm entitled to it, having been directly followed this man's history since he hit the scene in 2017. I would highly caution anybody to give this man any money. It's kind of like you ever give a homeless person money, like they say to you something like, "Hey buddy, can I get a few dollars to get a sandwich?" I've done that. I've given the guy a couple of dollars, right? And then I see him run into the liquor store with the $5 I gave him and get a thing of Mad Dog. And then the next day, the guy says, "Oh, excuse me, buddy, can I have a couple of bucks to get a sandwich?" And he points to a sandwich shop, which happens to be right next to the liquor store. But now, you go, "Wait a minute, you fooled me once. I gave you the $5 yesterday, and instead of buying the sandwich you said you needed, you bought liquor," right? I mean, this is just an analogy that I'm thinking of. Tom DeLong is the homeless man asking you for UFO dollars so that he could give you the UFO truth. But after you give him the money, he shows his true nature. And instead of spending the money on what he claimed he needed it for, he spent it on something else entirely, which was a vanity project movie that sucked balls. He wasted all of those UFO dollars on a vanity project movie that sucked balls. He doesn't deserve another dollar of anybody's money, unless and until he explains what happened with the first couple of millions of dollars that he collected and all those broken promises. He's got to explain all those broken promises. You don't get to just, do the Cosmic Con shuffle, hope everybody forgets that I, made all these promises and took all this money and didn't deliver on any of them. Now I'm back and I want more of your money. Just like the homeless man that's going to run to the liquor store with that $5. Don't you believe him? Don't be fooled again, friends. All right, so we're going to move on to Ashton Forbes and the wonderful new free energy grift that he's going to be running, apparently. And by the way, I just want to put on the record, we made, pardon me, this strep throat. We made a compilation of a previous series of ours. It's in our video section, a deep dive into free energy. Is free energy possible? And of course, one of the reasons that I compiled that is because I was getting so many questions about Ashton Forbes and his free energy claims. We here at our channel try to be a public benefit and educate people about various psychic scams, new age scams, UFO scams, alien scams, and more. So I put that compilation together, and I happened to put the link on two, I believe, of Ashton's threads about the free energy. And I wasn't nasty. I just said, before anybody spends any money, they should educate themselves about the history of free energy scams and free energy scammers. And he blocked me, which to me proves that Ashton Forbes is an intellectual weakling and a coward, who, by the way, called me a failed YouTuber. I don't know. I think we're doing very good here, Mr. Forbes. And I did not build my following on lies. I built my entire following on the truth. And I have a multi-year track record of accurate, fact-based reporting, of incredible deep dives and research into different topics and really getting to the truth about things. That's what I built my audience, my show, and my following on. You, Ashton Forbes, built your entire show, your entire persona on a complete and total lie. Ashton Forbes built a huge following. I'll give him that. Well, it's not even that huge. I don't know. One of his Kool-Aid drinking cult members was kind enough to point out that Ashton has 3 times my subscribers. But, you know, I'm not impressed by somebody that gets to where they got by just lying to people for a year straight. And despite all of his various false claims, those videos are now and will always be fake. And just a note on that, I'm not arguing with anybody about whether those videos are fake. I'm not providing additional evidence to anybody. I'm not wasting another minute of my time on 100% provably fake VFX videos that originated from a YouTube channel, Regicide Anon, which hosted a whole bunch of fake UFO videos. Why would I waste any more of my time? And to anybody who does want to continue to argue with me, it's very simple. There have been at least 10 VFX experts now who have looked at those videos and said, these videos are fake, and here's why. I'm talking about people with 10 or 20 years of experience in creating CGI and virtual effects and whatever. So we've got 10 on the record, real recognized experts in the field of CGI and VFX who've all looked at these videos and said, these videos are fake. So unless and until Ashton Forbes is going to put up 10 on the record, verified VFX expert that will refute the first 10 experts who say they're fake, I'm sorry, but the debunkers win and the videos are fake. You can't, and that's another issue. Ashton Forbes has used fake evidence to refute experts. Remember, a Reddit poster said that they were the head of Marvel VFX and that these videos are real and they could never be faked. Great. What's his name? Oh, I don't know. We can't tell you that. Just some random anonymous poster. For all we know, Ashton posted that shit on Reddit making those claims. And then there was the claim that there was another VFX expert and he was the expert head of VFX on Top Gun Maverick. And he said the videos can't be faked. Well, great. What's his name? Can we talk to him? Oh, no. It was an anonymous Reddit poster. But he said the videos can't be faked. So what we've got here is a real problem with Ashton Forbes as far as standards of evidence go. On our side here, well, it's really not my side. It's just the side of truth. But on the truth side, some would call it the debunker side, we've got 10 on the record VFX experts, at least, maybe more, with their real names. You can look up their resume. You can see reels of their VFX and CGI work. They're real people. You can email them and ask them questions and they will clarify. But I'm sure a lot of these Kool-Aid drinking nutters have driven them nuts because they always got to make an excuse for why that debunk's not exactly right. The pixel by pixel, the pixels don't match. And, this couldn't be a still image because the clouds move. If we speed it up by thousands of magnitudes, yeah, it looks like the clouds move a little bit, you asshole. So, there's a problem with Ashton Forbes with standards of evidence. We've got 10 or so, I don't know how many, VFX experts. They all say the videos are fake, and Ashton just makes excuses. He has no VFX experience, no CGI experience. He has provably used fake evidence to refute the experts that are on the record, real experts. And what's his proof? Well, some anonymous Reddit poster said that the videos are real and they can't be faked. Come on. And no matter how much evidence has come out to prove those videos are fake, Ashton will not let it go. And that shows you that he's not here for the truth. He once admitted that the videos were fake and then he took it back, right? Oh no, he thought about those super chats and that money coming in. And again, back to him calling me a failed YouTuber. Hey, dude, I didn't lie to people. You did. You provably have lied to people and used fake evidence to support your bullshittery arguments. If you have to resort to using completely and totally fake evidence to prove your arguments, you've already lost. And you could call me failed, but I didn't fail by lying to people. You know who is a failure in my view? Somebody that built their whole persona on a lie and ignored the suffering of those 200 people and their families who were ripped apart. Why? So you can get famous and make $1? Now you're going to move into free energy. And let's talk about another thing. Ashton Forbes has falsely claimed that he found the person that leaked those videos. No, he didn't. He found some guy who might fit some mold that he believes this is the kind of guy that would have access to this information, and he leaked it, and he got arrested for leaking other classified stuff. Did you speak to him, Ashton? Did he confirm that he had anything to do with the leaks of those videos? No. So you're just making shit up. Ashton argues with fake facts. Fake facts aren't going to cut it, right? And but let's get to the free energy. We have our fair use banner up. Now, Ashton Forbes is pivoting from the mh370 scam. And yeah, Ashton, you are a hoax promoting scammer. There, I said it. And what are you going to do? Threaten to destroy me? That's another thing. This guy's off on a tear, threatening to destroy people. And when you look at him, he looks like the guy who you ever know that there's that kid in high school who like gets his head put in a toilet. That's Ashton Forbes, right? And then of course there is the racist posts that he's been making lately. Big fan of the Q Shaman and all that Q-tard stuff. Probably Mr. Can you lend I'm going to spell it Niggah. I'm not going to say the word, a pencil. H added for emphasis that I'm not a racist. Just great. Just great. Really, really shows what a good person Ashton Forbes is, right? I don't care if you put an H at the end of it, Ashton. That's a word that you shouldn't use. You just shouldn't use that word. It's offensive, right? But hey, that's the least of it. My favorite is this mousy nerd dude talking about how he's going to destroy everybody. I mean, it's just comical when you look at him and then you see this stuff that he's saying, right? Let me find, I had that stuff. Oh, and Rob Wright on Twitter shared this, which I think is I just think this is funny because it's kind of hard to argue with this. Let's look at this. Ashton Forbes, traits of malignant narcissism. Let's see how many he matches, folks. Malignant narcissists display traits and symptoms of antisocial and narcissistic personality disorder. When combined, these traits tend to lead to a very severe form of pathology. While both ASPD and MPD are both types of personality disorders, how they affect a person varies greatly. And here's some common traits of a malignant narcissist. They include being extremely arrogant and self-centered. You mean kind of like just saying that 10 experts, all with years or decades of experience in a field, are just wrong, and you who have no experience in that field are right when those 10 experts are all wrong, right? Being extremely arrogant and self-centered. Yeah, I got to give them that one. Disregarding the feelings and needs of other people. Well, running around threatening to destroy people because they say those videos are fake, that would qualify him as disregarding the feelings and needs of other people. And hey, what about the families? Do you think that they want you out there on the internet making thousands of dollars, pushing completely fake UFO videos and saying that the airplane that their family members died in got teleported out of the sky by aliens, right? Or went through a portal? Do you think their family wants you out there making money off of that tragedy, disregarding the feelings and needs of other people? Yeah, that's definitely applies to him. Manipulating, using, or exploiting others for personal gain or pleasure. Yeah, I mean, I think he's manipulating all of his followers and, making money, manipulating these people, telling them lies that he claims are true, using fake facts and fake evidence to support his fake arguments. That one definitely applies. Having an extreme need for power. Well, I don't know about that one, but running around claiming that you're going to destroy all these people's lives, That sounds like somebody that has an extreme need for power and probably has none, right? He's just a little mousy, nerdy incel dude that nobody ever paid attention to. And suddenly he comes up with this hoax, pushing this hoax, and everybody's paying attention to him. But now he's going to destroy all the critics because they're going to take that attention away from him and reveal to people that everything that people are paying attention to this guy for is built on lies. It's a house of cards, and it's coming crashing down. Acts of revenge against those who criticize them. Of course, this guy has done nothing but threaten people. He threatens anybody who says those videos are fake or that he's wrong about those videos. He has threatened many, many people. We'll show you some of those threats. Fantasizing about ways to obtain more power or dominance over others. Well, that's kind of hard because it's hard to just look into somebody's heart. But based on what I've observed from him, that probably fits him. Lacking conscience, regret, or remorse for their actions. Yeah, kind of like how he went after multiple women, right? And with his misogynist attacks. Then he told that one girl that she's so ugly nobody would even R her or SA her. That's how ugly he said she was, or something like that. Just totally cruel. And yeah, oh, that's the next one. Being cruel and taking pleasure in the pain of others. High levels of aggression towards other people. And finally, paranoia or mistrust of others. Yeah, he's got to block everybody that disagrees with him because he's paranoid that his grift is going to come crashing down and he's going to lose that spotlight that he so desperately has become incredibly addicted to. Remember, he was going to retire from this grift and then he changed his mind. You got to love it, right? Yeah, so here we'll share this screenshot as well. This is great. From Embers to Ashes on X, who he also threatened. Ashton Forbes is quite content to threaten docs. Oh, I'm sorry. Ashton Forbes is quite content to threaten, dox, and harass anybody with the audacity to speak out about his behavior online. But when people post evidence of what he's up to, he rallies the troops to bury it with coordinated reports. Shameless and disgusting. And here's what he said about me. I'm just another failed YouTube grifter. On a side note, he wants everybody to report Aerotech Space. I've already submitted it to X Safety to have Chrys permanently banned for repeated harassment and incitement. He didn't harass you. He didn't incite you. He said that your videos are fake. And he laughed when Community Notes called your free energy device a scam. The comments on that post reference pics. Yeah, I don't know. So interesting. So I'm a failure because I didn't build my following by lying to people. But hey, Ashton, I don't have to worry about debunkers debunking what I present on the show or anybody else disagreeing with me, destroying my show here. You do. So I would worry about that if I were you, right? And here's another one from Chrys Lee that shows the pattern of abuse from this person. It's just absolutely ridiculous. This pattern of threatening and doxing behavior. I may be new, but I was under the impression this was not acceptable behavior on UFO Twitter. The dude didn't even write the note. You know what? Let me try to find. One second here. I was trying to find the post that shows the community note because it's pretty funny. We'll skip that for now. What you need to know is that Ashton posted about his free energy device, and the community notes on Twitter said, don't give this person any money, free energy, his device is a scam. And he got pissed off, and here he is. He's talking about the person that made the community note. He's going to learn the hard way. I'm serious. Anyone in that Discord, find me this guy's name or any personal info on him. I'm going to open a criminal case against him with the police. What are you going to charge him with? You're going to open a criminal case with the police because somebody said that your free energy device is a scam? Prove it's not, Ashton. Prove it's not. What kind of a pussy does something like this on Twitter, right? Oh my God, this guy is such an incel pussy. Look at him. Find me this dude's identity. I'm going to blast it on social media and send him a lawsuit. I'm going to make an example of this kid. I want to throw some of the Redditors in jail, or at least get them a criminal record. If not that, then ruin their life so they can learn a lesson and stop. I'm not even joking around anymore. This is just so ridiculous. And the person that he directed that to said, I did not have anything to do with the community note, as just Ashton claims. I simply made a comment that I was glad Community Notes was beginning to monitor him. He is now threatening to destroy my life over it. Oh, wait, here, I'll share that as well. So Ashton Forbes run around threatening to destroy people. Come on, dude. We got confirmation that Nutjob Discord pushed the community note. And he said, no, he didn't. Look through all the posts to figure out which Redditor it is, too. I'm going to destroy this guy's life. Figure out his X and Reddit accounts. I'm going to dox him to the world. So here he is threatening to dox people, which, by the way, doxing somebody is illegal, Ashton Forbes, you dumb dickhead. What are you doing? Publicly admitting that you're going to commit crimes on Twitter. Are you this stupid? Is this how dumb you are, that you've put in writing that I'm going to commit crimes against these people, you dummy? My God, this guy's dumb as rocks putting this on Twitter. But you got to love it. And there's more, and I could show you an awful lot more. Oh, geez. Okay, we'll do another one here. All right. And Jermaine on X, I love this post, said, oddly enough, this isn't the first time he'd done that. It isn't the first time this week, in fact. You're under the assumption. Okay, so this is why you don't listen to Nutjob Redditors, says Ashton. If I find out who Embers to Ashes is, I will make sure the world knows his name. This guy has been defaming me on Reddit for months and months. I will make an example out of him. I'm tired of these cowards hiding behind anonymity, lying about me. Come on. How many people is he going to threaten to destroy? And of course, we played you some videos before. There's videos of him threatening to destroy people, to get the family members of the victims of mh370 to sue everybody and take everything they own away. Yeah, so there's multiple examples of this guy threatening to destroy people's lives, threatening to sue people. He's gonna, file criminal complaints. Come on, you mousy little puss, right? And here's the community notes. He posted his video on Twitter, and the community note says, this is a scam. Do not send this man any of your data or money. Over Unity devices go against every conservation law. So this is what set off Ashton. And then he starts threatening to destroy everybody, right? He's going to destroy everybody. Find out who this X and Reddit accounts. I'm going to dox him to the world. Look through all his posts. Figure out which Redditor he is. I'm going to destroy this guy's life. This is great, all because Twitter added a community note, I think correctly pointing out that his free energy device is a scam. This is so funny. This is a scam. Do not send this man any of your data or money. Over Unity devices go against every conservation law. So he lost his mind when the community note straight called his new thing a scam. Dude, he's not even out of the box yet, and Twitter's already calling it a scam. And I, for one, am happy that they're going to let people know, like, don't give any money to this clown. This is the same clown that said that aliens teleported an airplane out of the sky with alien orbs and a warp hole or a teleportation device. Come on. You're going to buy a free energy device from this clown for $50,000. You deserve to get scammed. This is just so stupid. This is just so stupid. I can't believe that this is where we are at, and this is where we find ourselves after a year of scamming people with completely fake videos. He starts a new grift. Oh, I'm going to sell you a free energy device, and free energy is real. Immediately smacked down by Twitter. This is a scam. I've never seen a community note that was that direct in calling a scammer a scammer. This is wonderful. I'm glad that we're starting to see some kind of change. And I could play you tons more videos and show you tons more screenshots of this guy threatening people. Most recently, he's threatening the average Chrys to have his account deleted. And anybody that is sharing that community node or, you know, critical of him, he's freaking out. He's going to file criminal charges, destroy their life, dox them, and more. Great. And be sure to follow me on Twitter. It's at Stephen Canby. And I'm not going to share them because I feel like we've been through some of this stuff ad nauseum. But Chrys Lee just keeps on coming out with more videos showing that the videos are completely fake and why. Actually, I am going to share. I'll share one of them. I shared multiple on my Twitter today, but on the show here, we have some limited time. So the clouds in the satellite aren't the only things that don't move. Look closer at the background. The wave crests are not moving. This is how we know this is a still photo and not a feed from a satellite. Chrys Lee is single-handedly, as much of a misogynist and woman hater and incel that this Ashton Forbes seems to be. He must love the fact that there's a woman destroying his fake videos. It's a woman that just keeps making video after video humiliating this fake hoax promoter loser. And it's a woman doing it. And I, for one, am glad, because he needs to learn a lesson. He got to respect women, because there's some very capable, smart women in the world that will put you in your place if they have to. And this Chrys Lee is ripping this guy to shreds on Twitter on a daily basis. It's better than it's better than Seinfeld watching this every day or so. She posts more proof that the videos are fake, and he has no answer for any of it. It's amazing.
You have to speed up the video so much just to see that happening, when you can see clouds evolving in real time, kind of lends to the fact that it wasn't it's not like natural cloud evolution. Okay.
Clouds not moving.
Even if you were to say that these clouds are evolving or something, what about the waves in the background? They're not moving. And I would think that waves, look, it's on the screen for a whole good second here. The current is much greater than a cloud.
Yeah, a plane that big just flies through the cloud, and the cloud doesn't move one bit. Sure.
So
bigger. Poor Ashton. Chrys Lee's on the case, busting it wide open.
The fact that
it's incredible. It's incredible to watch this hoax get destroyed on a daily basis by a real expert in VFX. And then, of course, there was a reticle layer that Chrys Lee found that proves once again that those videos are CGI and VFX and fake. We're going to share one more piece from Chrys Lee just to kind of hammer home that, you know, Ashton Forbes' fake talking points fall apart. It's ridiculous. So in this example, one of the things that Ashton Forbes does is make excuses, excuses that don't even make sense. Like he'll say, the pixels don't match 100% from the stock effect, so it can't be the stock effect in that video. Bullshit. And here from Chrys Lee is a great example showing that things don't match because they're digitally manipulated. She says, here's another visual demonstration. Do these pixels match 100%? No. The colors are different, the background removed, and the shape distorted. But we can see that it is still the same source painting. Even when overlaid, the zap is the same. And so here's her great example to prove that Ashton doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. And he uses fake facts to dispute real science and real experts. The pixels don't match, but it's the same asset. And the same goes for the pyromania effect shown in these fake videos. The pixels aren't going to match because somebody manipulated the stock asset to fit the scene. They warp it, they change it, they change the colors, the hue, the saturation, the luminance, the brightness, the contrast. It's still the same asset. You can tell that in the original videos. So shout out to Chrys Lee, doing an amazing job peeling back the layers of deception that this hoax promoter has used to promote this stupid, completely and totally fake hoax. And, getting to the truth. And I, for one, am all for that. So thanks to Chrys Lee for amazing work she's doing, proving that Ashton is completely and totally 100% wrong in his batshit crazy schizophrenic analysis attempts. He doesn't have the qualifications to analyze these videos and make any determinations. And he can call himself an expert. What's he in? He's an expert in lying to people. He's an expert in using fake evidence. He's an expert in blocking people who show people the truth. That's what he's an expert in. He's an expert at pushing a fake hoax. I'll give him that. Great. You built a great following pushing a completely and totally fake hoax, Ashton. Good for you. And now we're on to free energy. You didn't prove your first bunch of hoax claims. Now you're on to brand new lofty claims, because forget working for a living. Paying for all those household bills are expensive. Ashton Forbes is going to sell you a free energy device, and you'll never have to pay an electric bill or a heating bill or any other. Yeah, it's just going to be free energy for you for the rest of your life if you just give this guy, who is a proven hoax promoter, a whole bunch of money, right? And we're going to get into that. So we have our fair use banner up. I'm not going to share. He's got a 2-hour video on this, and he just kind of repeats himself ad nauseum and doesn't really share any information. So this is fair use. This is a transformative work. We're educating the public about the mh370 hoax promoter's new hoax. I'm calling it a hoax until he proves otherwise. Prove that your device works, Ashton. I dare you. And I don't mean you holding up multimeters in some video. Get an independent electrical engineer to certify that the device works. Do that, Ashton. I doubt he will do that. He will never let an independent person look at it. And if he does, they got to sign an NDA, and then they won't be allowed to talk about the device. So his grift already has a built-in feature designed to stop people from debunking his claims. Oh, I got a free energy device, but I can't tell you who made it. Oh, I got a free energy device, but I can't tell you how it works. Oh, I got a free energy device, and I'll sell it to you, but you're not allowed to tell anybody how it works. Oh, I got a free energy device, but I won't have an independent electrical engineer or physicist look at it and agree with my claims being 100% true and real. But I got a free energy device. Sure you do. Sure you do, Ashton. Sure you got a free energy device. You spent the last year of your life promoting a complete and total hoax based on completely, totally fake CGI, fake UFO videos. And now you're going to tell people you got a free energy device? Come on, dude. It's getting a little thick in here. I need waders to wade through Ashton Forbes' newest bullshit. But here we are. Let's take a listen to some of his talking points on his free energy announcement.
Chatted with the entity today, worked through all the stuff. Here we go. Okay, guys, welcome to the announcement. First of all, I want to start off with the name of the company that has been developed between myself and the entity that has been able to produce over 30 over Unity devices already.
If you were able to produce 30 over Unity devices already, why do you need Ashton Forbes as a business partner? And why aren't we allowed to know who the business partner is? Kind of shady and scammy already, right out of the gate there, Ashton. I and partnered with another business that have developed working free energy devices. 30 of them. Can we see them? No, can't show them to you. Can't show them to you. But they did. They really have 30 energy devices. Can I see them? No, you can't. No, sign this NDA. I can't show them to you. Can you tell us who the inventor is? No, can't tell you. Right out of the gate, this is shady and scammy as hell. And by the way, just so everybody is aware, there is a long and shady and scammy history of UFO people getting into the free energy business. You know who ran free energy businesses so far? And by the way, none of them ever delivered on their promises. Let's see. Dr. Stephen Greer collected $500,000, never delivered anything. Then he collected another $500,000 to make a film about free energy. But he didn't explain where the first $500,000 went that he was supposed to use to develop a free energy device and open source it. It's only $500,000. Just give the guy another $500,000 because now he's going to make a film about it. Yeah, and then, of course, there was David Wilcock, right? And, you know, he's going to develop a hover car with a free energy engine. He's never proven anything either. And by the way, neither has Greer. And then, of course, there has been several other people in the UFO community that made free energy claims and collected a lot of money, including First Class Space Agency. Recent Joe Rogan guest once had a company, or I'm sorry, it was a charity to develop a free energy device, and then they never filed their 990, so nobody knows how much money that individual collected or what he did with it all, but he never produced a free energy device as his one-time website for First Class Space Agency promised. That's what they were doing with the donations. But now we get to Ashton. So Ashton, and by the way, I've only mentioned 3 of the UFO guys that got into the free energy grift and made promises, collected tons of money, and never delivered on their promises. Well, I don't know about tons of money, but a great deal of money, and never delivered on any of their promises. I've only just mentioned 3 of the UFO guys. Now, let's forget about the UFO guys and just get into free energy scammers. There's hundreds and hundreds of guys who have made similar claims to Ashton. And none of them have ever proven any of their claims, none whatsoever. None of them have ever shown a working prototype. None of them ever paid back their investors. None of them ever, you know, it's just, it is a black hole of deception and scammery when you get into free energy devices. Now, I want to be fair. So in fairness to Ashton Forbes, if he gets 3 independent people, an electrical engineer, a physicist, and an electronics technician. If he gets those 3 people from 3 different disciplines, an electronics technician, an electrical engineer, and a physicist, if he can get 3 proven, on the record, real experts in those fields to examine a device and certify that all of Ashton Forbes' claims are 100% true, then I will apologize and admit that he must have a working device if he's gotten a physicist, an electrical engineer, and an electronics technician to all look at the device, measure the input and the output, observe the device for several days, and make a determination. Is it really over unity? Is it really creating more energy than we're putting in? Or is it some kind of a scam? So, in fairness to him, that would be how to prove your claims, not making bullshit videos of you holding multimeters up to some mystery device that we don't get to look at. But it is what it is.
And the name of that company is, drumroll please, EtherTech. EtherTech is the name of the company. So the reason why EtherTech was chosen is because A, we're bringing the ether back. The ether is the idea of how over unity device can be produced and how it can produce.
And ether is pseudoscience that was abandoned by real scientists ages ago. But I still think there may be something to it. So I don't want to be too dismissive of ether or, you know, Tesla believed it for, I believe, most of his life, that there was this, mysterious force in the universe that you could extract energy from. Who knows? It could be true. Often called, besides ether, people say 0 point and other, buzzwords.
Essentially, energy from the ether itself. And this is consistent with the laws of thermodynamics, contrary to popular opinion. We have to simply reimagine the way that the laws of thermodynamics work. We have to open our system up. And by opening our system up to the ether,
that's funny, Chrys Lee.
Additional.
I guess
energy.
I am too. So, then
Ether Tech is the name of the company. So get used to saying that. Now, how to inquire about an over Unity device. So EtherTech will be technically a energy consulting company.
World's foremost bullshitter.
And we will be able to produce over Unity devices. They can be produced to spec, but I imagine that most people will want something in the mid-range that can power their houses.
I agree, Kepson.
Now,
looking for more power.
Rollout
power over others
is going to be a alpha rollout. And the alpha rollout of EtherTech,
I agree,
will be, first of all, people can send their inquiries in, and then we'll be vetting those inquiries based on certain criteria.
So he's only accepting certain customers. That's another red flag. Why? Well, if it works, why can't I buy one, Ashton? And by the way, I would never sign an NDA. I might buy one just to bust that it doesn't work, but I would never sign an NDA. Why don't you give me a free one to test? After all, I've spent a lifetime as having a background in computer science and electronics technology. I've built robots, computers, radios, transmitters, alarm systems, all kinds of things, including purported free energy devices like Bedini motors and other things like that. Why don't you give me a free one and I'll test it here in my garage, and I'll live stream all the tests, and I'll bring alien scientists here, and I'll bring, Mark from Falcon Space Labs, and I'll bring physicists. Well, no, we've got physics covered with Jeremy Rise, the alien scientist. I'll bring every person that I think is qualified to decide if this device is actually going to work or is a scam. I'll live stream all of it if you give me a device. And if I'm wrong, I will eat my own shoes live on stream. But I'm betting this device doesn't work. But why don't you let somebody independent like me test it? Wouldn't that be a great way to prove to people that you're on the level and this device really works? Right? And you get to make a debunker like me eat crow, or in this case, my shoes, right?
The first thing I want to say is that we reserve the right to accept or decline any contracts that we want. So just because you put in a request doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be selected.
Debunkers aren't allowed to buy one. Skeptics.
Now, what are the questions going to be for that you're going to be asked? So you can either write these down right now, or you can wait. I will post these on Twitter later on. I just want to make everything 100% transparent in terms of the questions that we're going to ask you guys. First, your name, your real name, your age, your occupation and business, if you have a business.
Yeah, I guess you're right, Ember to Ashes.
How much power you want your device to be able to generate. So this is very important with respect to the size of the device that would be necessary. Because once again, these can be built to spec.
Oh, they can be built to spec. Well, here's another reason why Ashton Forbes should give me a test device. I just need a very small one to power a tiny cabin that I'm building. Wouldn't that be great, Ashton? Wouldn't it be great publicity for you? You could give me one of the devices. I could power a whole tiny cabin from it. You don't need much power for a tiny cabin, right? I just need lights and a laptop from that free energy device. And then I could make videos at the cabin of this free energy device powering my lights in the cabin and my laptop. And then you could use that for promotional material. Look, this guy's got an off-grid cabin and he's powering the whole cabin from our free energy device. Why doesn't he give me one? Right? Can't wait to test it. I'll test it at the cabin. I'll film it, and I'll be completely honest if it works. Ashton, I give you my word as a man. I will be completely honest. If it works, I will report that it works. But I think that Ashton is going to do the same thing with this that he's done with mh370. He's going to vilify any critics of this venture. He's going to personally attack, ad hominem attack, threaten to destroy, anybody that says, show us the proof it works. And wouldn't it be a good idea, Ashton, if you actually educated yourself, as I have, on the history of free energy devices and claims? Have you even done that? I think that Ashton may have been deceived himself. Maybe his so-called business partner convinced him that they have working devices. 30 of them, in fact. He said they have 30 working devices. Then why can't you give some of those working devices out to some of the skeptics and critics that are qualified to test them? As I said, I mean, I happen to know Jeremy Rise. He's got a degree in physics, and we've got Mark from Falcon Space Labs I can maybe get to come here, or maybe I could take it to Mark's lab and we could test it there, right? Yeah, I mean, that would be great. We'll get some other guys that I know, like, people that work in IT, people that work in electronics, people that are electrical engineers, look at it and determine if it works. He's never going to let that happen. And this NDA is ridiculous. And the fact that, like, we reserve the right to refuse anybody a device.
If whether or not you want it to just be like a backup generator, if you want to be able to power your whole house, if you have
that's what they want to be able to do.
Small house, so you need to ideally have some idea of how much power you need to generate per day in terms of kilowatt hours. Just in case you're curious, the average American household uses 25 to 30 kilowatt hours per day. I also want to point out here as well that these devices can be hooked up to, like, your breaker, for example. You may need an extra electrician to help set that up, and then it can
you can hook it right into your house,
back into the grid. So it can work very similar to how
you can make money off of it.
So it's not a situation where you have to have the you have to use just the power that's in the device. You could actually still extract energy from the grid if there was like a gap, and then potentially if you're using more energy than you use, then it can go back into the system. We also are going to ask what your budget is for the device.
What's your budget?
So this is an important question to understand. If
how much can we rob you for?
I have said that for a device that would potentially be able to power the average home entirely, 25 to 30 kilowatt hours per day, it can be, and again, this isn't going to be something you can hold me to here, but potentially around $50,000, upwards of around $50,000 potentially for this kind of device. Now, I want to again point out that part of the reason why I've selected this manufacturer, entity, is that seems like a lot, but some of these devices that people build that are out there are significantly more expensive and complicated than this particular device. And I think that's one of the reasons why over Unity has been held back.
Sounds like he's selling solar panels.
Now, if you need less power than that, it could potentially be cheaper. If you need more, it could be a lot more expensive. And the goal is over time to be able to bring those prices down.
Stardust says, I know how this is going to play
more
out.
Efficient as there becomes economies to scale to it. So the alpha wave is essentially the early adopter wave for people. And I understand that will price a lot of people out. But for right now, it is what it is. Now, the exact price will be determined based on all the answers to the questions and what you're kind of looking for with respect to an over Unity device. The next question is, what area of North America do you reside? So this will only be available to people who are in
go solar? Yes,
continental United States,
instead of solar,
Canada,
go bipolar.
And maybe Mexico. But the idea is North America for the beginning. So if you are somebody that is living overseas for right now, you will be excluded. In the future, that can potentially change.
No,
just for a number of different various
Why would you spend $50K for this when you could spend $20K for solar?
The next thing, of course, is going to be your phone number so that we can get in touch with you. So, we're going to be vetting all these people. We're going to probably want to get in touch with you, make sure that your information is legit. I expect to get a lot of kind of scam calls and things like that out there. So phone number will be the next one. The next question is if you're willing
How much
to
are you
put
willing
down
to spend?
a 40% deposit. So the way this will work is that the 40% deposit, up to 40% deposit, it might be a little bit less. We haven't exactly figured that out, but will be able to cover the raw materials required to put the device together. This would be a fully refundable deposit.
Oh, it's
so if for whatever
refundable.
reason you aren't interested, then you would be able to get that money back, and then we would just move to the next person. So the way it'll work is we will pick out a select number of people. We haven't exactly decided the total number just yet. Depends on how many devices can be produced at once. And then there will be a waiting list for other people as well. So I'll roll over to the next.
Sounds like he doesn't really know anything here. Like, well, we're going to take these orders, and then hopefully we'll be able to fill them. I got to get the free energy guy to make the free energy devices for us. Great. Can we see the guy who's making the devices? No, it's all a secret. So stupid.
And the next question then is, are you requesting proof of functionality? And when I say requesting proof of functionality, I mean if you are willing to, if you are requiring to actually see the device in person. So I have already set up a demo model with the entity, and the whole point of the demo model, they and I
You're right.
went in together to
I thought he already had 30
device set up that people can come in and see for themselves. This will be the same one that I will go and take the videos.
When money
of
is in, he disappears.
So if that's the kind of thing you want that level of assurance, that's something that we can potentially work out as well. So we want to know if you are requesting proof of functionality, or some people are willing to just YOLO it. I mean, we have said that the device 100% works and will produce over Unity. Now, the next thing is, what are your intentions for the device? So there's a number of questions related to your intentions for the device that will determine whether or not we think you're a candidate. Is the device for business or for residential purposes? That's the first question. Are you planning on using the device on or off the grid? Now, on or off the grid really kind of depends on whether you're trying to hook it up to the grid or not. And none of these questions are necessarily deal breakers, but altogether it will help us get a good idea of the candidacy for each individual and whether or not we want to talk to you more about making it happen. The next question then is, are you planning on sharing the device with any other people, communities, etc.? So, like Wi-Fi back in the day, for example, people would share the device. We want to know whether or not you're planning on sharing it, who you'd be wanting to share it with. The next question is whether or not you are planning on using it for research or educational purposes.
Notice that he said you have to tell us if you're going to share this device with anybody. What does that mean? Like if you're going to let a skeptic look at it, we need to know that, right? This is so shady already.
So if you are, let's say, like a university and you want to research the device, stuff like that, or any type of reverse engineering whatsoever, we want to know about that as well. So we want that up front as well. Don't want there to be any surprises about it. Many of these questions are also for protecting intellectual property related to this device. Then the last question is, do you have any conflicts of interest with other businesses or entities? So this question really has to do with whether or not you're in the energy business or anything else like that. So this is more of a liability question.
That's weird.
To make sure
Come and
that
see my free energy
people are
device.
coming at this with good faith. And then like I said before, once again, we reserve the right to accept or decline any certain contracts.
Educational. How about free energy?
The location where you can sign up, if you want to inquire, is ethertechllc@gmail.com.
Yeah, he'd have a fatal accident. I agree,
@gmail.com.
And nothing's
Ether is spelled AETHERTECH.
And nothing says legitimate business like I have a Gmail address for my business. Of course, I do that too, but I have a paid Gmail account for my business. But anyway, that's pretty funny. Email us at Gmail to get and give us 50 grand to get your free energy device.
LLC@gmail.com. So you can actually begin now if you want. Those are the questions. I will post them on my Twitter account later on so that you can see for yourself. Now, a few other questions, and then I'll address questions in the chat. There's been some commonly asked questions around the device.
Oh.
And once again, I'm trying to give you as much maximum transparency as possible here.
Yeah. What transparency? Telling you got to sign an
people
NDA.
ask what the nature of the device is. So, and here I will go ahead and link this. There's the EtherTech Gmail account right there. You can start to send those inquiries. Once again, I'm just going to repeat this again, is that there will be no contract signed until after I've seen the device in person and taken video that I've been able to post onto Twitter, onto social media, on my YouTube.
He hasn't seen the device.
Shows that the device.
He hasn't even seen the device in person. He hasn't seen the device in person. He said they have 30 of them. He hasn't seen the device in person, but he's selling them? Wait, what? You haven't seen the device in person, you asshole? Oh my God, this is not going to end well. This is going to be better than the mh370 hoax. Watching this one come crumbling down is going to be better than watching the mh370 hoax come crumbling down.
It actually does produce energy without being plugged in. Okay, no tricks.
No tricks. I don't believe it.
The next thing is the device is
he might be being scammed.
Electromechanical. Okay, so the device is electromechanical, and yes, there are moving parts with the device. So a lot of people ask that, are there moving parts? What's the nature of the device?
Oh, he said
it is electromechanical, and
so
yes,
he's
there
already
are moving
been
parts with respect to the device.
I'm sorry that there's buffering here. 1 second here.
Maintenance. A lot.
Let me check. I have to go to incognito window. Did he tweet that he's already backpedaling? That's interesting. That's interesting. Let me see if I can see any of the tweets. I don't know. He blocked me because he's an intellectual weakling and a coward, and his stupid crap, it can't be. No, I'm not going to be able to see any of his recent tweets, so I apologize. He can't withstand debate, so he's got to block anybody. Oh, I have a feeling he's going to be blocking a lot of people about this free energy device, more than the mh370. Oh, he said it in his live stream. Thank you, Cenobite. Interesting. So we'll continue a little bit. But
a lot of people ask about maintenance. So far, after 30 devices, there's been no maintenance issues with a single device. The oldest device has been in use for nearly 3 years.
Now, wait a minute. He said it's an electromechanical device, and now he just said it doesn't require any maintenance. I'm here to tell you, any electromechanical device needs maintenance. Motors, for example, they need to be serviced. Electric motors need to be lubricated, checked, degaused occasionally for best and most proper operation. Generators are electromechanical devices. They need maintenance. So already there is some real problems from like a reality perspective. I'm sorry, I don't believe that there is a such thing as any electromechanical device that will operate for 3 years with no maintenance. That is one of those pie in the sky promises. Sounds great. You don't even need to do any maintenance on it for 3 years. I call bullshit on that. He said it's an electromechanical device. Electromechanical devices require maintenance for proper long-term operation. And I mean, that's just my opinion, having built things with motors and servos and things for my whole life. What do I know?
3 years. There would be no tinkering with the device, or the warranty related to it will be voided.
You're right, Anna Louisa. He's reading the questions like it's the first time.
The entity that can produce the device is so confident in the reliability of the device that they are willing to maintain it at no additional cost to you whatsoever.
Yeah, I agree, Mom.
We haven't worked out the exact
Yeah.
number of years, that would be part of the contract that we would sign with the entity. But once again, tinkering with the device would completely void that.
You're not allowed to tinker with it. You're not allowed to test it, probably.
And that's pretty much it for what I had listed.
Tinkering probably includes testing it. You're not allowed to open it up. You're not allowed to look inside the magic box. Come on, Ashton. If the magic box works, you wouldn't care who looks inside the magic box, would you? This thing don't work. I'm sorry. I'm going to go out on a limb here.
Listed out there for the common questions. So once again, if you do not answer all the questions that I just listed, then you
can't have a magic box.
Your email will be ignored.
Can't have one of our magic boxes.
And please don't be offended if your email does not get a response. I'm sure we'll get quite a lot of emails, probably a lot of troll email, things like that. So we'll only be responding to people that we think are credible and that we have that we're going to vet as well. Okay. So let's go ahead. Questions about personal danger, potential dangers about usage. I've seen the device, and I know.
Well, here he contradicts himself, because earlier he said he had to wait to take orders until he sees the device in person. Now he saying I've seen the device. Have you seen it in person? Have you measured it yourself? Did you get independent contractors like an electrical engineer, a physicist, and an electronics technician to look at this device and guarantee you that it actually works before you take people's money for it? No? Why would you enter into business with somebody who claimed they have a magic box that makes free energy without doing your due diligence? It sounds to me like he just is taking the word of this mysterious business partner of his that the device works. Earlier he said he hadn't even seen it in person. Now he just said he's seen it. So which one is it, Ashton?
How it works. And I asked about this, and the people that are manufactured, there's been no personal issues around it. You're not going to get cancer from it or anything like that. Even though this is an over unity device, the amount of energy these things are producing is not enough that it's going to like warp space time around your house. Okay,
oh,
so
well, that's
your
good
house
news.
isn't going to fly to the Andromeda Galaxy.
Oh, that's great news.
You're not going to get some kind of weird sickness from being around it. Although I am a little bit worried that people are going to
Are you kidding me? Is that
like
true?
hypochondriac and like think that the device gave them some weird thing. So there probably will be some language in the contract that says you can't blame your like sicknesses on the device and things like that. But what I can say is that people out there, the manufacturers, etc., there's no, let's say, scientifically sound reason why you would get any type of sickness from it.
By the way, has the device been tested by the FCC? You know you can't sell an electrical device in the United States without certification from the FCC about various things like EMF levels. How much EMF does it generate? You know, there's so many problems with this. He's just like, yeah, we're just going to sell you a magic box that makes free energy. Do you even know that you can't sell an electrical device in the United States without certification on EMF levels from the FCC? Do you even know that, Ashton Forbes? Of course not, because he has no background in electronics, and I do. And by the way, I know that because I once tried to market a computer ages ago. I was going to make a custom sort of hobby computer, a Linux computer, and the regulations around that are so stringent and ridiculous. It's amazing. Does he have certification from the appropriate regulatory government agencies to sell an electrical device in the United States, let alone internationally? Has he even thought about any of this stuff? This is how you know that this is a clown show. I'm here to tell you, look it up. You cannot sell, you can't manufacture and sell an electrical device in the United States without all kinds of government intervention and regulation. Does he even know that? Right? So maybe he'll take all these people's money and then figure that out and then go, oh, we can't sell you the device until the government is done, you know, measuring EMF levels and all of this stuff, right? Yes, Ashton, my butthole is not like your butthole, Forbes. Exactly. So, you know, the red flags to me are, I have a business partner that's making these devices, but I can't tell you who it is. Why? And wouldn't somebody that invented a free energy device that could have the potential to save the entire environment of Earth, wouldn't he be proud of that and want people to know he invented that? And where's the patents? You have patents, right? You have patents, right, Ashton Forbes? If you had a working device, you'd have patents. Can we see the patents? Can we look up the patents? He doesn't have any patents, and he doesn't have the knowledge to know that you can't manufacture and sell an electrical device in the United States without all kinds of government certifications. Have you had those government certifications? Can we see the patents? Can we see a working device? I have so many questions, and I can't wait to see what happens next. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say he's going to continue to overpromise, overhype, and then he will inevitably underdeliver, which will lead to the big letdown. In the history of people making similar claims to Ashton, not one person has made good on their promises and claims when it comes to free energy devices. Now, I always root for an underdog. So I'll hold out the 1% possibility that when thousands of other people have made similar claims of having a working free energy device and never actually showed a working device, never actually proved their claims, maybe Ashton is that one guy who did, right? And he just happened to hook up with a company that's already got 30 free energy devices. Listen, if you're making a company sell these things, show us the device. What are you doing? Sitting there on YouTube like, oh yeah, we got a free energy device. Can we see it? No, can't. I can't show it to you yet. You got to sign an NDA, and we have to decide that you're the right kind of customer for us. In other words, they're choosing their victims, in my opinion. Why wouldn't you let someone like me purchase one and test it and live stream it on YouTube, right? This is not going to end well, and I'm just going to bounce out. I'm not listening to any more of this guy's nonsense. Prove your claims. Prove it works. And by proof, I mean real proof. Like I said, he needs to have an independent physicist, electrical engineer, and electronics technician. All three of those disciplines. He needs to have recognized on the record real experts in those fields. Look at the device, measure the device, observe the device for several days, and then either co-sign his claims that it is a working free energy device or refute his claims. Do I think he's going to do that? That would be the way to prove that this actually works. He's not going to do it. Chrys Lee TV says no demos until they fork over their personal info and swear not to talk about it. Yeah. So what happens if you give him all this money, Chrys Lee, and then you get the device and it doesn't work? But you've signed an NDA, so you're not allowed to talk about the device at all, right? That's like a built-in fail-safe for the scam, in my opinion. If it really worked, you wouldn't need people to sign an NDA. And then, of course, he's going to say, well, we can't have people steal our technology. Well, then you patent it. But he doesn't have a patent, which proves that he doesn't have a working device. If you really had, and if you really cracked the code of free energy devices, you would patent it so that other people could not steal your, working methods and trade secrets and create knockoffs. You would patent it. The first thing you would do if you had a working device is patent it. So my question to Ashton is, where's the patent? And if you don't have one, then you likely don't have a working device. And all of this rigmarole, oh, we got to sign an NDA so we can protect our intellectual property. No, they're trying to protect themselves from repercussions from scamming people for a fake energy device that doesn't do what they're claiming. He's saying they have 30 working devices that can power a home, right? Alien Critter says, I think it's funny that there's people in here moderators on GoofOn. Is it? Are they? I don't know. Because he appeals to complete imbeciles, says Wise Monkey, and that's who they want, as they're easy to scam. Interesting. Yes, Anthony M says, why on earth would they pick this guy as their spokesperson? Yeah. Yes, and Science, Evidence, and Fringe says usually they try to delay delivery till forever. Yeah, though I predict there's going to be a little problem with the device, and we need to address some concerns we have before we ship the device. There's going to be all kinds of excuses. My prediction is that these devices will never ship, and if they do, they will never be proven to be what they're claiming. But that's my opinion. I'm entitled to it. I mean, what do I know? I've just studied free energy devices for a great portion of my life. There was a time when I spent a great deal of time on these free energy devices, and I'm an electronics guy, so I would come across plans. Somebody said, "Oh, this is a over Unity or what device or Bedini motor or whatever," and I would build the stuff. Nothing ever works, and then the people who make the claims blame you. They'll basically say, like, "Well, you didn't build it right." That's their excuse for why the devices don't work. Even in cases where I have purchased plans from people who said, these are plans for a free energy device you can build from common electronic components, and then I get it, and it's a scam. It's like a transformer. It'll change one form of voltage to another, but it doesn't create more power than you put in. It's a scam. These are scams. Chrys Lee said, he just said on his stream that nobody can take pictures of their purchased devices and that they'll have serial numbers on them to track the devices. Yeah, if it works, why all the secrecy, Chrys Lee TV? And by the way, if he really had this device, it would be history, world-changing, Nobel Prize-winning kind of a development in science. He'd be on the cover of Time magazine and every magazine in the country, and he'd be on every talk show and every podcast, including Joe Rogan, if he actually had a device that works. But hey, let's not show people that we have a device that works. Let's just claim. And then you got to sign an NDA, so you can't talk about the device, and you're not allowed to take any pictures of the device. You're not allowed to tinker with the device or let anybody see it or share it with anybody, including people that might hook up some measuring equipment and decide, oh, this device is a scam. It doesn't really work. But then you signed an NDA, so you're not allowed to tell other people, hey, I got scammed and this is a scam. Don't give this guy your money. It's great. It's great. So I would just urge everybody to be extremely cautious in evaluating people making fantastic claims, especially when they're placing these kind of limitations. Anthony M says you can track your order all the way from the pile of BS. Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. So we're going to get to Stephen Greenstreet's video, which I think really was great and dispels a lot of the rumors about Kirkpatrick being a liar. 1 second here. We'll just close that out. We don't need that. We don't need that. All right. This is fair use. This is a transformative work. We're educating the public. I have gone past the first 2 minutes, which just is sort of a review of the spooky hustlers, and they sold the fake New York Times article, and then all the media just jumped onto it. I want to jump right to the interview, and I'll be doing some commentary. This is a transformative work. We're educating the public, and we'll be critiquing and discussing the video we're sharing. This is certainly fair use.
With our national secrets, Kirkpatrick asks. It's a very good question, but my confusion is why it took so long to ask it.
Yeah, why did it take so long to
The Arrow
bust this
report
stuff?
is very detailed, specific, and conclusive, but it's 2024. This all started in 2017,
Free energy home shipping.
this current phase of things. And it's been a nonstop UFO and alien fest since for 6 years.
Since 2017, yeah.
So how the heck did this get so out of hand? How was it allowed to go on for so long? Why didn't the Pentagon just shut all this nonsense down 6 years ago?
Well, those are all great questions. I don't have
What's coming
answers
next,
for them
Moondust?
other than Congress wrote a lot of it into law and told the department and the IC to go do. And so they have, to the best of their ability. So, I think what you're seeing is the executive branch, in particular the Pentagon and the IC, are very much trying to address Congress's concerns.
I agree, by the way, with Stephen Greenstreet. It shouldn't have taken the government this long to sort of step on the dicks of these UFO grifting scumbags. You know, they pushed a false narrative since 2017. And, you know, I don't know. I'm beginning to think that a lot of them really do believe this stuff. And it's not just a scam or a grift to them. They really, really believe that behind the curtain, the government's hiding aliens and alien spaceships and all this stuff. And they're doing whatever they have to get behind that curtain. But then they do, and there's no aliens, and they just cry cover up. I don't know why it's taken since 2017 for the government to actually stand up to this bunch of true believers that are influencing Congress members, you know, senators and more, and demanding that the government waste money on their belief system.
Congress is continuing to beat this drum despite evidence to the contrary.
Kirkpatrick is saying essentially that Arrow represented the first time Congress actually mandated these specific questions be asked. Kirkpatrick and Arrow answered those questions in their report, but Congress seems to have mostly ignored the report they themselves asked for, and instead continue their hunt for alien UFOs.
I love the pop-ups. We're going to keep looking for aliens. So Greenstreet is right. Congress set up Arrow to look into all of these claims, investigate everything. They had all the authority to look at anything top secret they wanted to. Arrow looks into everything and basically says that, yeah, there's no aliens. And then the Congress who stood up Arrow say, well, thanks, but we're going to keep going looking for the aliens, even though you already investigated and didn't find any. It's so stupid.
Despite evidence to the contrary.
Congress's interest in this is a domino effect. The New York Times article comes out, domino falls. Worldwide news, copy paste the New York Times story, domino falls. Congress goes, what the hell's going on? And they still, to this day, Congress still thinks the basic facts of that New York Times story is accurate. They're still operating off of the original claims, the original story. So this domino effect has been going on. The Arrow report, in many ways, stops the domino fall, but
pulls one out.
My question, you can give me just your opinion, like what's taken so long?
Well, okay, so let's back up just a minute. So there are two different things happening here that I think we're talking about. So the New York Times article covered a lot of the stories from pilots, right? Pilots concerning
and that's a valid concern
as they're flying around,
because it could be a safety hazard.
That all falls under the operational mission of Arrow. Right, there are real safety and security issues that Arrow is trying to address, that the department is trying to address. Of, hey, what's in the airspace? Is it dangerous? Is it hostile? Is it an
Here's where I have a problem with it. There are real dangers and concerns that come along with UFOs or UAP. And, you know, when you get to the situation that we're in, where everybody's looking for aliens, they're not dealing with the drone problem. Do you know the rise of the drones in the past 7 years since this alien hysteria has taken place, all based on a false story and a liar, Lou Elizondo? You know, the amount of incursions of drones into U.S. airspace has increased exponentially. And instead of dealing with that problem, all these assholes have convinced Congress that it's aliens and we have to look for the aliens. So it's really like bad magician's misdirection. Like, go look for the aliens. Don't look over here where the drones are. Drones is a huge problem. And these people are actually negatively affecting national security with all this alien nonsense that there's no evidence of, but there's plenty of evidence of drone incursions, and we're not dealing with that because we're wasting taxpayer money and time and a whole office looking for aliens because a bunch of assholes with no evidence claims all these things. Like, oh, the government's got alien bodies. The government's got alien spaceships. They're back engineering them. There's crash retrieval programs. No.
Necessary, or is it just something that could cause an accident in the air? What is that? How are we going to get our arms around it? What are we going to do about it? Because the pilots were concerned, and they had valid concerns about that.
Yeah, it's a safety hazard.
The historical piece of this, where, wrapped in the allegations of government cover-up and conspiracy, are the things that are mostly unfounded and are woven into the same narrative as what the pilots are seeing. And these are not the same things. These aren't even close to the same things.
Kirkpatrick brings up a good point. While there aren't any aliens in our skies, something obviously is. When the military
drones.
upgraded their radar systems in recent years, they suddenly saw a bunch of new stuff.
I'm a happy rug. Can I?
Sorry about that. 1 second. I did not mirror this video, so I apologize if we have to stop it through the commercials and cue it. I apologize. Little short for time today.
See before on their older radar platforms. This seems to have led to the surprise and at times confusion of pilots who asked, "What the heck is all this stuff?" Well, a lot of that stuff has since been determined to be mundane things like balloons,
drones,
party balloons, to weather balloons. Kirkpatrick told CNN's Peter Bergen, "Balloons are one of the biggest hazards right now, and it's growing. There's something like 10,000 balloons launched daily."
That's crazy.
There's also
10,000
been a
balloons?
massive increase of drones in the air. The FAA says drones are the fastest growing segment of aviation in the United States, and millions of them have been sold to the public. Since drones are still an emerging technology,
there's plenty of free
laws to
memberships.
enforce
By the way,
drone safety are sometimes.
I should take a moment to thank Mike Larry again. There's a particular viewer, Mike Larry, who's been buying hundreds and hundreds, gifting hundreds and hundreds of YouTube memberships here for our viewers. And for those unaware, you have to be a subscriber to qualify to get a free membership when people gift these memberships. So if you haven't already, be sure to smash that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. You'll know when we're doing a live show. And you could get a free membership since kind and generous viewers have gifted hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of YouTube memberships. And by the way, I have a plan in place. We're going to start getting the content on Patreon and the YouTube channel members. We're going to increase the amount that I make from 1 or 2 a month to 1 or 2 a week. I just haven't had time this week to post, but I will be posting some videos likely tomorrow or Friday that are just for Patreon supporters and YouTube channel members. So anyway, be sure to smash the subscribe button. There's lots of gifted memberships up for grabs, and YouTube randomly gives them out to people who are subscribers, but not yet YouTube channel members.
Times lagging behind. As such, military and commercial air pilots are encountering both balloons and drones in the air, and such encounters present a real danger for mid-air collisions. Another documented fact is that some of these objects are foreign adversaries, like
the Chinese balloons. And this is why I have a problem with these UFO promoters. The government should be doing something about foreign adversarial technology that is apparently just, going over our airspace. They should be concentrating on a plan to stop drone incursions, spy balloon incursions, and more, because these things have been increasing exponentially in the past couple of years. But instead of doing that, we're looking for aliens because Dave Grush said that the government has alien bodies, right? And that these things are alien spaceships. And every time these people make these claims, it's like Lou Elizondo with the Go Fast. That's included in here. Oh, it's doing thousands of miles an hour. No, it's doing 30 or 40 miles an hour. You don't know, biggest expert on UAPs in the world doesn't know when something's going 30 miles an hour. Lou Elizondo is an idiot. And so is anybody who thinks he's ran a real government program. Sorry, not sorry. Well, I don't want to say idiot. That is too harsh. Gullible. You're very gullible if you believe Lou Elizondo's claims, including his claims of running a government UFO program. He never did. Not a real one, except in the land of make-believe.
China or Russia spying on America with drones and balloons. The infamous Chinese spy balloon is the most obvious example of this, but there are many, many other cases. The public is mostly unaware of this, and I will be producing a deeper investigation into this aspect in the near future.
Yeah, good for Stephen Greenstreet. And by the way, Greenstreet, I have a whole bunch of information on that subject. I have some Google Drive folders. I'll get them together and share them. There is an alarming amount of evidence about adversarial drones and spying devices, as well as an alarming amount of evidence that even things like drug trafficking is being done with drones right now. Were you aware of that? There's drug trafficking drones flying from Mexico to spots in the United States, ferrying fentanyl and all manner of dangerous drugs into our country. Isn't that the more important thing that we should be worrying about, other than these evidence-free stories of aliens, right? I think so.
Into this aspect in the near future. But for now, it seems that fake stories about aliens have distracted us from fully addressing a very real problem.
Yeah.
I think the problem is that real problem initially was branded under the umbrella of paranormal, of
That's
aliens,
right.
and
That's right.
and so people were looking this way instead of looking that way.
Misdirection. Classic
And
magician's
that's
misdirection.
an important distinction you need to make sure is clear with your readers of, look, these are two separate things.
Exactly.
And why people make that leap of, hey, I don't understand what I'm seeing, therefore it must be an alien. There's a whole range of other possibilities between I don't understand what I'm seeing and it's an alien. There's all kinds of other stuff that happens in there, right? Why people make that jump, I don't know. It's a very interesting psychological study and PhD thesis for somebody, but it's not our job. Our job was to try to decouple the two.
While trying to decouple fact from fiction, Kirkpatrick, Arrow, and the Pentagon were able to demystify some of the famous UFO videos that have captured the public's attention for the last 6 years.
Yes, especially the Lou Elizondo material that he claimed was something otherworldly in order to get television show deals, book deals, live speaking engagements, and set up, what did he set up? 5 businesses or 3? I don't know, 3, 4, or 5. Lou Elizondo set up 3, 4, or 5 businesses around UFOs and UAP. He got television show deals, all on the lie that he ran a government UFO program when he never did. And these 3 videos that he claimed were some kind of extraordinary craft, and they weren't.
The UFO true believers have claimed that these videos show otherworldly craft operating in spooky ways that defy the laws of physics. For example, here is Lou Elizondo, a member of this group.
Yeah, and by the way, look at this group. Hal Puthoff, who wasted hundreds of thousands of dollars studying fake psychics. Eric Davis, whose research has been called crackpot research by the Air Force. James Lukatsky, these people, Bigelow, who wasted $20 million studying his own ranch. Travis Taylor, who can't tell the difference between a bug and a spaceship doing 30,000 miles an hour. Let's see, there's George Knapp and Jeremy Corbell, who have been caught selling completely and totally fake alien and UFO stories time and time and time again, including most famously the Bob Lazar lie. These are all people that sell spooky things, and they're never what they claim they are. Interesting. It always goes back to the same core group of people. And of course, we have David Grush, who just repeated the stories that he heard from this, I believe, from this same group of people. But he's claiming, oh no, it's 40 different people. Great. Can we get the list of their names? Can I interview them? Oh, I can't tell you who they are, right?
On the History Channel, claiming that this
This
video
one's my
shows
favorite.
a spooky UFO
Go
traveling
fast.
at high speed across the ocean.
That thing is hauling
That's
ass.
exactly my point.
It's little less than 2/3 the speed of sound.
But how is the craft able to fly so fast?
But subsequent analysis from the Pentagon, NASA, and independent experts discovered that the object is not moving that fast at all.
It's not
Using
going fast.
basic trigonometry,
Go
the
fast.
object's
Wasn't
speed
going
is
fast.
estimated to be as low as 30 or 40 miles an hour, consistent with a balloon being pushed by the wind. The camera is actually what's moving fast, not the object. This optical illusion is called parallax. This video is claimed by UFO believers to be spooky flying pyramids.
Yes, here's another one of my favorites. So we have Lou Elizondo's videos completely busted to shit as not what he claimed they were. And then we have Jeremy Corbell, both core members of the spooky gang that are pushing this nonsense, promoting this, and they're all getting rich from promoting this shit. Is that a coincidence that all those people are getting rich from promoting this shit? I don't think so. And of course, Jeremy Corbell claiming these are pyramid spaceships. These people always overhype, overpromise, and they inevitably underdeliver, which leads to the big letdowns.
But it was officially determined by the Pentagon and multiple independent experts that the triangle shapes are due to the camera's triangular iris, which makes out-of-focus objects look triangular. Most of the triangles in this video are just out-of-focus stars.
Yeah, and that was Mick West who figured that out. And I think it's funny that the government just kind of twice now they've seen Mick West's debunks and went, yeah, that's what it is. Let's write it up. They ought to be giving him a
In the
salary.
night sky. The Pentagon says other objects were drones, not alien pyramid spacecraft. This famous video is claimed by true believers to show a spooky UFO performing an impossible mid-air rotation.
Oh, the
While the
gimbal.
object itself
Another
is
Lou
yet to be
Elizondo
fully
fake.
identified, this is not its true shape. This black blob is simply glare from thermal imaging, and the apparent rotation has been determined to just be a side effect of the camera's internal gimbal rotation, which has been reconstructed in detail by UFO skeptic and computer programmer Mick West.
Mick West strikes again. Yeah, I'd love to see Lou Elizondo defend these stupid videos to somebody like Mick West who actually did the real work. And remember that Lou Elizondo is now marketing a book claiming that he's the world's foremost or most credible. Is it the most foremost? Did he say I'm the most foremost UAP expert or most credible UAP expert? I'm here to tell you, if you're an expert in UAP and you keep getting caught lying and saying that these are extraordinary craft, and then an independent researcher like Mick West looks at it and says, no, it's not what you're pretending it to be, then you're not credible. In fact, you're the least bit credible because you're pushing fake nonsense. They're mystery makers. There's no money if there's no mystery, right? Yeah.
As the source camera rotates, so does the glare from the object. And so most, if not all, of the main UFO images that have captured news headlines over the last 6 years have since been debunked as either normal terrestrial objects like planes, drones, or balloons,
Yeah.
or as
Ordinary
illusions,
earthly
errors,
objects.
or camera artifacts.
Ordinary earthly
Kirkpatrick
objects.
seems a bit disappointed in all the mundane explanations, telling CNN's Peter Bergen that the best thing that could have happened never did.
The best thing that could have happened in this job is I found the aliens and I could have rolled them out.
It would have been
But
world
there's
famous.
There is no evidence of extraterrestrials. There is no evidence of aliens, and there's no evidence of the government conspiracy.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? No evidence. Spooky's here with a £2 super chat and says, I'm trademarking spooky things. Little late for the start of the super chats this evening, but we'll take it. We thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support. Yes, you should trademark spooky things. And thanks for helping us to praise the cat.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
For those unaware, we read every single super chat. We're a viewer-supported show. We thank everybody for their kindness, generosity, and support, whether it's $2 or $200. We read every single super chat and thank every single person who sends some support our way. Yeah, I believe so, Spooky. Slow start tonight. But you know what happened? I don't know why. I swear I want to wear it every day. But then I thought that's too greedy. When I wear that Praise the Cash shirt, it must be like a subliminal message right on my chest. Praise the cash! We had a great night last night for the super chats and stuff, but a little slow tonight. But you win some, you lose some. You take the good, you take the bad. You know, the facts of life. Let's continue here in our journey. So Kirkpatrick saying there's no evidence of aliens and there's no evidence of a government conspiracy.
If you could imagine.
Oh, again. 1 second here. All right. Now we get to the part that everybody is waiting for. Some clarification on this Skinwalker Ranch briefing that everybody called Kirkpatrick a liar over. Turns out, looks like Brandon Fugel was the liar, not Kirkpatrick. Great.
And there's no evidence of the government conspiracy.
Okay, now for the part most of you are probably waiting for.
Great
My
ass
previous
picture.
report ended on somewhat of a cliffhanger. If you haven't seen it yet and you're a fan of cliffhangers, the link is in the description below.
Oh,
In
and by
essence,
the way,
Kirkpatrick claimed to me that he had nothing to do with
I have to add
UFOs
the
or the
video, too.
paranormal before his assignment to Arrow in 2022. But then I discovered he was at a 2018 briefing, which featured a presentation about Skinwalker Ranch, a supposed UFO hotspot. Also in the briefing were various UFO and paranormal enthusiasts. So what the heck was Kirkpatrick
people from
doing
the
there?
spooky bunch.
UFO believers who don't like Kirkpatrick smelled blood. They took to social media to say my report proved Kirkpatrick was a liar. But he didn't actually lie about anything in my report. Sure, there were some outstanding questions and confusing statements on all sides. But
Yeah, and it's interesting that everybody jumped all over that to call Kirkpatrick a liar. Any excuse, no finding alien man bad, right? Like, oh, he's the devil. This guy didn't find the aliens. He's a liar. This is proof he's a liar. Talk about mountain out of a molehill. You're asking a guy to remember one meeting out of probably hundreds of meetings this guy has had to go through in his government jobs. And by the way, that's something that's so funny too. This briefing by Brandon Fugel on Skinwalker Ranch was so like forgettable that he didn't even remember what year that briefing was in, and it was so unimportant to him that he hadn't thought about it since he went, and he basically reported back to his superiors that was nonsense. Brandon Fugel, you pushing nonsense.
that alone doesn't make him a liar. Because of these wild accusations, I felt it was necessary to dig deeper. I now have new information about this briefing, so let's fact check the main claims. In June 2022, I interviewed Brandon Fugel, the
Terrence
owner
the
of
Dark.
Skinwalker Ranch.
Oh no.
Claim number one. Fugel claimed that in 2018, a congressional staffer named Thomas Kurt McConnell from Senator McCain's office called him and asked him on behalf of Senator McCain to come to Washington, D.C. to the Senate Armed Services Committee and present a briefing on Skinwalker Ranch. Fact check. Thomas
Nope.
Kurt McConnell was a Democrat.
Didn't
Did
happen.
not work for Senator McCain.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? So everybody was calling Kirkpatrick a liar. Looks like Brandon Fugel's a liar when we actually dig in and fact check. And my thanks to Stephen Greenstreet for doing the fact checking. Nobody does the fact checking. Here we're fact checking. Listen, anytime a UFO celebrity opens their mouth or makes a claim, you have to fact check them. You can't just take any of them at their word because they're all liars, or at the very least, they're all embellishers and exaggerators.
McConnell worked for Senator Jack Reed, a Democrat from Rhode Island. Jack Reed, at that time, was the ranking minority member
of the Senate Armed Services Committee. In 2018, Senator McCain was technically the chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee, but McConnell did not.
I would remember
report
the
him.
Dino Beavers
Also,
too.
in 2018, McCain wasn't even in Washington, D.C. He had been diagnosed with brain cancer and, starting in 2017, had remained in his home state of Arizona to undergo cancer treatments. In fact, just 4 days before the supposed Skinwalker Ranch briefing,
This is
that
interesting.
Fugel claims was created and organized by and on behalf of Senator McCain, McCain was actually in Phoenix, Arizona, at a hospital getting surgery.
Yeah, so this is interesting. So, you know, I don't want to speculate too much, but here's what I will say. It is a very often, I would call it a plot device, that a UFO celebrity will use a dead person in their stories because they think, well, that guy's dead, so nobody can check, right? How many people, you know, we see David Wilcock cite a dead source all the time, that Pete Peterson that's been dead for years and years and years. I think it's part of the grift. It's part of the tactics that some of these UFO celebrities use to use a dead source in their stories. And I think that's because they think, well, they can't check with him. The guy's dead. And I'm not saying Fugel did that, but it is interesting that he's claiming that this whole briefing was set up for McCain, and McCain wasn't there, couldn't have been there because he was somewhere else. And great research to find this out on the part of Green Street here.
At a hospital getting surgery. I previously brought all of this up to Fugel and asked him to provide evidence of McCain's involvement in this 2018 Skinwalker Ranch briefing. Fugel provided no evidence, saying the only evidence of McCain's involvement was
Time
just
flies on
something
the trail
someone
of
had
cosmic
told him
con men.
verbally.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, that doesn't seem very solid. In a statement to me, the Senate Armed Services Committee says no senators were involved in Fugel's briefing. And as of the date of this video report's publication,
I know,
no
you're right,
evidence of Senator
Bradbury, yeah.
McCain's involvement has been provided.
So all the stuff that Brandon Fugel originally said about this briefing, who it was for, who set it up, that all turns out to be bullshit. But Kirkpatrick's the liar because he didn't remember. And of course, Brandon Fugel said that Kirkpatrick was leading the briefing. No, he wasn't. We'll find that out in a moment here as well.
So, for now, this part of Fugel's claim is unfounded and lacking evidence. Claim number 2. Fugel claims Sean Kirkpatrick
Poor
was
Fugel.
at this
He's getting
2018
murdered
briefing.
here.
Fact check. Kirkpatrick confirmed to me that he was indeed at this briefing, but that he couldn't remember whether it was 2017 or 2018 because in the summer of 2018, he moved to Colorado. Fugel told me he had photos from this briefing. I asked Fugel if he could provide these photos. He did not provide them. Only after my report was published did Fugel publicly tweet a photo from the briefing.
Look at Kirkpatrick.
Which shows
he's sitting there like, what the fuck am I doing here? Listen to this nonsense about a spooky ranch in Utah with all of these wackadoo.
Was Kirkpatrick there? Okay. Fugel says Kirkpatrick was there. Kirkpatrick confirmed he was. And the photo shows that. Everyone's in agreement. And the photo's metadata establishes that the briefing occurred on April 19th, 2018, which is before Kirkpatrick moved to Colorado. So within the time window Kirkpatrick originally estimated. Claim number 3. Fugel claimed Kirkpatrick was, quote, one of the individuals leading the discussion at the briefing. Fugel also claims Kirkpatrick told everyone in the room about his belief in, quote, the reality of UFO phenomena.
And here's where it gets good. Remember, everybody was claiming that Kirkpatrick was a liar. So far, it looks like Brandon Fugel deserves that title a lot more.
Fact check. Kirkpatrick responded to this claim saying, "That is a blatant lie and mischaracterization from Fugel. I neither led the meeting nor ever said UFO phenomena was real, period. The meeting was called and led by Kirk McConnell. I was invited by McConnell to listen and give my opinion. I didn't lead the conversation.
That's
I
something
didn't
else.
say much, but ask a couple pointed questions at the pseudoscientific presentation. I gave my unfavorable impression
scientific
and assessment of the briefing to the
conversation.
staffers and moved on,
You called it
never giving it
scientific.
another thought until now." The photo Fugel provided does indeed show Fugel and his team presenting on one side, and the listening audience is on the other side. McConnell is sitting at the head of the table in the center. I reached out to Hal Puthoff, who was at the briefing and is a close associate of Brandon Fugel. Puthoff agrees
Credible
with
as a
Kirkpatrick's
crackhead,
version
yes.
of things. I asked Puthoff, what was Sean Kirkpatrick's role at this briefing? Puthoff responded, "I assume, as for others in attendance, it was simply for info gathering." I then asked Puthoff, was Kirkpatrick leading the discussion at all? Or was he just listening, taking notes, etc.? Puthoff responded, the latter.
Yeah, and I just want to say, how full of shit do you have to be that Hal Puthoff can say you're full of shit? Because, man, when you talk about people that are full of shit, like Puthoff is up there with the full of shit people, and it's kind of surprising that he would kind of, maybe he didn't know that he was confirming that Brandon Fugel lied about all this. I doubt he would have given these answers had he known that his answers would confirm that essentially Brandon Fugel was exaggerating, embellishing, or just straight lying.
So Puthoff agrees with Kirkpatrick. He was just there as an observer, listening and taking notes, not leading the discussion and proclaiming the reality of UFOs as Fugel claims. I then reached out again to Fugel, asking him to confirm, clarify, or modify his original claims regarding Kirkpatrick at this briefing. Fugel did not respond. Over 12 days, I sent him multiple emails asking for a response.
Yes,
I
that's
even
something.
sent him a text message. If he had any
Yeah, that's great. So he gets caught lying through his teeth, and then he doesn't want to talk about it anymore. After all those people attacked Kirkpatrick for being a liar, Brandon Fugel gets caught essentially lying, embellishing, or exaggerating, and now he doesn't want to talk about it anymore. Typical.
evidence to support his claims, I've now given him ample opportunity to provide it. But at the time of this video report's publication, Fugel still has not
When he
responded.
shovels, he uses
So
both
given the current
hands.
evidence, it's safe to say that these claims
Thanks for
of
putting a
Fugel
smile on my face,
are
Wingnuts.
unfounded and lacking evidence.
I think that's fair. Unfounded and lacking evidence. All right, that ought to be the last commercial. Jesus Christ. New York Post, it's only a 22-minute video. They must have their ads cranked up to maximum here, but I don't blame them. I would do that, but I'm afraid people will complain. People complain, and I do the moderate, I think, setting or light ads. I don't know. We have a 2-hour, 30-minute show so far. I don't know how many commercials you've sat through. Somebody in the live chat let me know. I'm just curious. 1 or 2. I think there's 3. There's a beginning one, a mid-roll one, and an end-roll one.
Fugel claims this briefing was a
Maybe
Skinwalker
more, I
Ranch
don't know.
briefing, and only a Skinwalker Ranch briefing. Kirkpatrick claims it wasn't, saying that the briefing focused instead on OSAP, an independent group that investigated lots of paranormal stuff, like Skinwalker Ranch and UFOs. Kirkpatrick says he doesn't even remember the name Skinwalker
Must have been
Ranch
some
being
forgettable
mentioned.
briefing. He doesn't even
Fact check.
remember Skinwalker
This
being
is
mentioned.
strange because Brandon Fugel is the owner of Skinwalker Ranch, and he appears to be giving a presentation about Skinwalker Ranch right in front of Kirkpatrick. But Hal Puthoff, again, who was part of the presenting team, told me the purpose of the briefing was to inform some congressional staffers about the history and future plans for investigating
So that would have
UFOs
included OSAP.
/ Skinwalker Ranch. Okay, so according to Puthoff, Skinwalker Ranch seems to only have been one of the topics discussed. Again, Kirkpatrick says he was
Not
only
anymore.
there
It's a big
as
waste
a
of
favor
time.
to Kirk McConnell. Kirkpatrick was not impressed by the briefing and says he never gave it another thought. So it does
He
seem
didn't give it
likely that
another thought.
Kirkpatrick, when asked about this briefing 6 years later, would not necessarily remember all the topics and details discussed. So this claim seems to be kind of, but not
Yeah, you're
entirely
probably right,
true.
Jason Parker.
Kirk McConnell did not reply to my multiple requests for comment. The Department of Defense would not let me speak with Brennan McKernan, who was at the briefing and is still a Pentagon employee working in naval intelligence.
Well, that's interesting.
Department-
They wouldn't let him speak to him. Why not? Listen, I think that Green Street has proven time and time again that the government is embarrassed about anything to do with wasting taxpayer money on Skinwalker Ranch nonsense. Even that, look at that meeting. There's like 10 people, all employed by the government, that have to sit there for a few hours and listen to Brandon Fugel talk about, spooky shit at this ranch he owns, right? Poltergeists and smoking dogmen and dino beavers. Oh my, and UFOs too. I think that the Pentagon and the government are embarrassed that they've allowed government employees to waste time on Skinwalker Ranch. They never seem to want to comment or talk about it. That's been my experience. When I've reached out for comment, I get ghosted. I think Green Street gets a little more of, gets some more answers because he has real press credentials.
Department of Defense spokesperson Susan
He's not just a guy with a
Goff, issued
podcast.
this statement regarding Kirkpatrick's presence at the 2018 briefing. Dr. Kirkpatrick had no involvement with Skinwalker Ranch. When DoD officials are invited to attend a briefing on a subject that Congress thinks may be of interest to them, the officials will usually accept the invitation.
Well, that's interesting. And it
Acceptance
makes
of a
sense.
congressional invitation does not denote confirmation or validation of material presented or discussions held.
Yeah, people want to make it that, Kirkpatrick was at that briefing, so it must have been important. He doesn't even remember it. I gotta love it. He doesn't even remember attending it or what year he attended it in. That's how forgettable and unimpressed he was with Brandon Fugel's spooky presentation.
Kirkpatrick offered an updated statement regarding his involvement with UFOs before 2022, saying, other than attending one briefing at the request of the Senate Armed Services Committee in an unofficial capacity, I had no official duties regarding UFOs. So there.
Yeah, so I think he clarified the confusion with his last part of this interview. And it's unfortunate that everybody jumped straight to calling the guy a liar. Listen, I used to be in corporate America at a job, and there was meetings constantly. And if you ask me to recall this, I'm just telling you my own experience, take from this what you will. But, in corporate America, I had to go to meetings constantly as a member of the IT team or whatever, and there would be meetings about stuff that had nothing to do with my job. But when we want the IT guys here in case we have questions or concerns or, they can contribute or, whatever. But my point is, if you asked me the specific details of some of those meetings that I went to in corporate America, which were like this, PowerPoints and briefings and plans and, whatever, I couldn't remember the specifics, and neither should anybody expect Kirkpatrick to. But of course, the true believers will take any attempt, any reason they can to attack this man who said he found no evidence of aliens, right?
There you have it. An unofficial briefing 6 years ago about some spooky things that seems to have been.
And I love that, an unofficial meeting about some spooky things. They had an unofficial meeting about some spooky things, right? But Brandon Fugel exaggerated this to be some big important thing. Then he was requested to do this for senators. Of course, no senators showed up or were included in the meeting, right? Oh, you gotta love Brandon Fugel. You got caught lying through your teeth, buddy. This was a nothing burger.
And a bit blown out of proportion and embellished.
Embellished.
Which, if you've
Exaggerated.
seen my previous reporting, is par for the course for Brandon Fugel. Fugel produces a History Channel show about his Skinwalker Ranch. And basically every episode contains exaggerations, embellishments, and unfounded claims. Links to all my reporting on Skinwalker Ranch and Brandon Fugel are in the description below. As for Sean Kirkpatrick, we may never hear from him again. He is sick and tired of the UFO nonsense, telling me I'm refraining from any further interviews on the topic.
Wow.
I wish I could say the same.
That's a good way to end it. I kind of agree with Green Street. Sometimes I want to just check out of this subject because it gets so stupid sometimes. It's hard to keep the interest going. We want to take a moment to thank some kind and generous people, including the Hydrogen Line, who's also a member. Thank you for that. He says, you are doing the Lord's work. Well, we thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support. We thank you for being a YouTube channel member. And thank you for the kind and generous contribution here of $1.99 US. Thanks for helping us to praise the cash.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
All right. And we've got another one, I think, right, that I missed so far. Yes, Jeff Ulrey with a kind and generous $5. And thanks for being a member as well. Here's the first donation for building the Truth Seekers University Headquarters Fund. Well, I am building that hideaway cabin in the woods, and I'll take your $5 today. For those unaware, I really enjoy sort of building cabins, but I like to challenge myself and build them out of trees and trash. So today I found some incredibly nice windows. Somebody in my neighborhood was replacing a bunch of windows in their house. And these are nice aluminum double pane glass windows that open and close. They're not broken. I put them right in my car, and I was so happy because that's like somebody handing me a couple $100 I don't have to spend for the new cabin. But thank you, Jeff Ulrey, for your kindness, generosity, and support. I'll put the $5 in the Hideaway Cabin Fund. I'm going to be building that thing on the cheap. Used doors, used windows, picked out of the trash are free, and really all I need to buy is a lot of nails and screws and stuff, and some spikes. You spike the logs, and some mason mix because I'm going to do a stone floor and maybe some roofing material. But I should be able to build that little cabin very cheap. I'll throw your $5 in that fund. Thanks for helping us to praise the cash, Mr. Jeff Ulrey, YouTube channel member and longtime show supporter.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
All right. I'll take some comments and questions from the live chat. If you have comments or questions for me that you want me to share on screen, please put them in all capital letters. It really does help. I happen to be visually impaired, and it really does help me to know you want me to share that. Alien Critter says, good job on exposing the hoaxers. Well, we thank you for that. Yes, and Kepsa says, Dino Beaver Ranch failed to get more taxpayer UFO money. That's probably what they were there for. It wasn't enough that the U.S. government wasted $22 million on that ranch. Then Brandon Fugel's doing presentations, I suppose, attempting to get more funding, right? Wreaking Havoc 215 is here and is a channel member. Thank you for that. Says the U.S. government is using these grifters to spread their narrative of aliens from space. A lot of people believe that there is a organized effort of misinformation, disinformation on the part of the U.S. government. And some of these people are bobos for the CIA, including Tom DeLong. A lot of people think that about Dave Grush and Elizondo and others. It is interesting that many of the UFO celebrities now are former intelligence officers who specifically not all, but many of them have had training in information warfare. Anjali, the alien contactee lady, she worked for the Defense Intelligence Agency, not once, but twice, once as a direct employee and then once as a subcontractor. And in both of those jobs, she specialized in information warfare. Then we get Lou Elizondo, who's had counterintelligence training, apparently. And, of course, we have Dave Grush, who was also specifically trained in information warfare. And they're all here in the UFO community telling alien and UFO tall tales. I don't think that's a coincidence, but I do tend to think a little conspiratorially. Self-licking ice cream cone with a kind and generous 149 Canadian super sticker. We thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support. We thank all of you people for helping us to praise the cash, including you kind and generous Patreon supporters and all you YouTube channel members. Although a lot of you YouTube channel members, hundreds of you guys have been given or gifted a free membership thanks to the kindness and generosity and support of people who have been gifting all those free memberships. I hope that we'll start ramping up the content for you members and Patreon supporters. And after your free first month with that gifted membership expires, I'm hopeful that you'll throw in the $5 and continue being a member. How is Ashton getting anywhere with his junk? Yeah, I have no idea, Admiral Rascals. It's amazing that anybody believes anything that guy says. After all, he's a proven hoax promoter. It's ridiculous. But I guess this is the new hoax, the free energy hoax. He's moved on to a new hoax because truly the mh370 hoax is just coming to an end. There's just too many VFX experts all saying that those videos are fake, and he can dance around and say, no, they're not. No, they're not. But he's not an expert in VFX or CGI. He has no qualifications to refute the verified experts who have all looked at those videos and said they're fake, and here's why. Nothing like working in IT to make you want to build a cabin in the woods. You are right, Vincent. I go from one extreme to the other. In fact, at the main cabin, I didn't want to have internet, but my wife kind of twisted my arm. And by the way, the internet there's pretty shitty. I mean, it's enough to like stream it's enough to consume content, but it's not really good enough to live stream, which is disappointing. But I'm in the middle of the woods there. I didn't even want to have on-grid power, but my wife, you know, she wants to be comfortable. And my wife really enjoys things like toasters, hair dryers, electric heaters, electric pizza machines, I don't know, toaster ovens, and microwave, and an air conditioner. All those things will kill the little solar panel system I had. So we need to have, oh, thank you, Spooky. I'll fix that. Yeah, I was really rushing today. Let me fix that right now. You're right, I did. I that's weird. I put an extra C in there. Thank you, Spooky. That's fixed. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's good to have some proofreading. I was very rushed for time today, and I was rushing getting the stream up. We call that corruption. Okay. Yeah. Yes, and Pete Berry is here and says, I just want to know where the smoking dogs are. Yeah. I absolutely agree with you. I don't know why, but PayPal is telling me for security reasons, you'll need to reset your password, and I don't want to mess with that right now. So if you did send a PayPal pledge, I apologize. I'll call those out tomorrow, I promise. And by the way, we'll be doing an early show tomorrow. I'm not quite sure what time, but I will be going to the cabin tomorrow when my wife comes home from work around 6 p.m. Eastern. And the internet at the cabin has been pretty crappy, not really sufficient for live streaming. So in order to cram one more show in for the week, I'm going to have to do it tomorrow afternoon sometime, probably somewhere between 2 and 3 p.m. So just be sure to follow me on Twitter at Stephen Cambion, or follow me on Facebook, just my name, Stephen Cambion. I always announce the shows a few hours before we do them. I apologize for having to modify the schedule, but I got to do what I got to do. This is the last weekend that I have to clean the whole cabin. My wife is coming, and she's a bit of a clean freak, and she gets very angry and upset with me because the cabin turns into this construction zone mess, and there's tools everywhere, boxes of nails, boxes of screws, L brackets, parts for things. There's just stuff everywhere. I started last weekend cleaning up, but I have to do the deep clean thing, like, wipe everything down and mop, and I hate mopping. But we have nice hardwood floors in the main room of the cabin. So, yeah, I got to do that and get the place up to snuff. and remove any debris, trash, construction material. I just got to clean the whole place up because my wife's going to be there very shortly with the children, and she likes things neat and tidy and everything in its place. And of course, she's not very accepting of my level of clean, if you know what I mean. Like, I've been there all winter. I might have swept up a few times. I didn't even mop all winter, and it turns into like a mess, because especially in the winter with those hardwood floors, you're tracking all this dirt in and out. I really should have cleaned up. Pete Berry says, have you gone with the tin roof? Yes. For those unaware, I'm building a porch roof. We were going to go with clear plastic panels, but then I couldn't get the clear plastic panels in 12-foot sheets, only 8-foot sheets, and that would be a seam, and that would be a lot harder. Anyway, I've ordered the black tin roof, black metal roofing, to go on the porch, and I'm not sure, but it might be delivered as early as this Saturday. If it is not delivered, then that's going to suck, because I will have one weekend to finish that porch roof. But I think it's still within the realm of possibility. So my wife is not going this weekend. She's not going the following weekend. She's going the weekend after that, which is the week before the 4th of July. I think she wants to, get there and make sure that everything is good and clean enough for her, because we are having guests come to stay at the cabin with us from her family at the 4th of July. And my wife always likes to check on my work, and then I get additional honeydews, like, honey, move that shit, move this shit, clean this shit, whatever, I hate this time of the year, Pete Berry, because I'm always stressed out trying to make it as comfortable and clutter-free and clean as possible as I can for my wife. But in any case, I'll be going to the cabin tomorrow, so we're going to do some sort of early show tomorrow. I'm not sure what time, but I will be announcing it on my Twitter. Just follow me on Twitter at Stephen Cambion. So I think we've done our due diligence, and I like this, not spending 2 or 3 hours on one subject. This is what's been going on this week in the world of UFOs and aliens. We try to keep you up to date and give you, a more skeptical perspective on some of the things happening. And so I think that's all I got for you. I will be back tomorrow sometime. Like I said, I'm just not sure what time yet. And also, I want to do the good YouTuber thing and actually promote this weekend. A few of you have asked me if I'm going to do anything really special for the 1-year anniversary of David Grush, who's made an incredible amount of claims about aliens and UFOs and alien spaceships and back engineering and alien space monsters murdering people, right, on Earth. Somehow alien space monsters are murdering people on Earth, and people get mad at me and say, he didn't say that. Okay, non-human intelligence monsters are murdering Earthlings, whatever. But for over a year now, Dave Grush has not provided a single shred of any evidence whatsoever of his claims. And so this weekend, we're going to do something really special. People have really enjoyed those deep dives. And then I realized that one of the things that we've been doing here is actually compiling information. It's one of the things we do well here. We do very in-depth coverage, and we try to research things and really learn about the topics that we discuss here and give you the truth. That's what we've been doing. And so I've been covering the Dave Grush story since it began a little more than a year ago. And I've compiled a great amount of information about the entire Dave Grush saga. So this weekend, we are going to have a broadcast-a-thon. People have really enjoyed these 12-hour deep dives. So far, I'm sure that we have 3 12-hour deep dives this weekend, and it's all Grush. Dave Grush Exposed. Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. But I'm not done yet. I may finish a few more 12-hour deep dives, and we could do 5 12-hour deep dives, which is a ridiculous amount of coverage and content. But I thought that would be an appropriate way to celebrate 1 year of Dave Grush making these claims and show everybody our coverage, which has been substantial. We have covered everything that happened in the Grush saga. So if you're feeling nostalgic this weekend and you want to relive the entire Grush saga from beginning to up to date almost, this would be a good way to do it. Dave Grush Exposed. We're going to have at least 3 12-hour deep dives, maybe more. I think I can scrape out another 2. So Friday night, 9 p.m., maybe Saturday, 9 a.m., and then Saturday, 9 p.m., and then Sunday, 9 a.m., and then Sunday, 9 p.m. It's going to be a Dave Grush Exposed marathon all weekend long here on Truth Seekers. So be sure to smash the subscribe button and hit that notification bell if you haven't already, and you'll know exactly what the schedule will be for this weekend. I'll also, as soon as I know what it's going to be posting that on my Twitter, so be sure to follow me there at Stephen Cambion. So we want to take a moment to thank all of you kind and generous benefactors, you Patreon supporters, you YouTube channel members, Twitch subscribers, super chatters, super sticker people, super thanks people. Did you know that? Even if you're watching a replay, you can hit the thanks button and throw a couple bucks in our hat and keep us honest. We're a viewer-supported show, and we appreciate all of your support. So that's all I got for you, friends. I'll be back sometime tomorrow. As soon as I know, you'll know. And I appreciate all of the support of the people who've been gifting these memberships, especially this Mike Lowry. What a great blessing. This month has been incredible as far as fundraising. And remember, we're a viewer-supported show. I can't dedicate this much time to something and the equipment and the software and all of that stuff. I'm thankful for all of the support. So that's all I got for you, friends. Until next time, my name is Stephen Cambion. Good night. God bless all of you.